Raider Nation, yo, what's good, everybody? I just wanted to pull up tonight, man, and we're going to talk all things Raiders. We're going to talk about Josh McDaniels, Derek Carr, the defensive side of the football. But first and foremost, man, let's just wait for some people to pull up. There's 3 of you guys in the building, so if you guys can, drop a comment down. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And look, man, we're just going to chop it up, have a good show, maybe potentially open up the panel later for people to join on and just have open discussion. Tonight's an open dialogue night. Tonight's a night for Raider Nation. This is a show for you guys tonight. So this is for you to get your opinions out there. Let's talk about all the questions that Raider Nation has. And look, moving forward, man, we just got eligible this week for membership. So we're coming up with ideas, early access to merchandise, Raider Ray merch. We're getting early members only shows. I'm just trying to get creative with you guys and just see what you guys would be interested in doing. Obviously, I'm in the process of developing all the emojis and all that. Look, you guys, it's a lot of work, but man, shout out to the Raider Nation for getting us to this point, man. It's been a good journey, but this is only the start, and we have big plans for the future of this show. And I do want you guys to know, look, super chats. This is the first live show where super chats are actually going to be a thing. So I just want to let Raider Nation know that hey, everything that was ever donated to this show is going straight back in to providing you guys with the greatest content that I can put out personally. So yeah, it's going to turn into aesthetically getting the studio even more up to date, multiple camera angles. Man, I just got big visions for the show moving forward, and it's only because of Raider Nation, man. So thank you guys for all the love and support that you guys have showed me. I could not be here without you guys. So without further ado, man, I'm just going to address the chats and see who's all pulled up. Let's see here. We got Robert Pena in the building. He says, salute Raider Ray and Raider Nation family. Shout out to you, Robert Pena. I'm glad that you're in the building, man. Sean Johnson says, hey, Raider Ray, hope all is well. And look, Sean Johnson, look, man, you're still the winner of the 1K giveaway, and I've DM'd you about what you would want. And look, man, like, let me know what you want. Do you want some Raider Ray merch? Do you want a mini helmet? Like, let's just discuss it. Check your Instagram. Shoot me a message, man, and we'll get it all worked out. Robert Pena, salute Sean Johnson, Anthony Estrada. Yo, salute to my big dog Raider Ray. Haven't caught a live from you in a minute. Yeah, I haven't seen you in a minute, man, Anthony. I'm glad that you decided to pull up, man. Tonight we're going solo dolo. Tomorrow we've got a live show with my co-host, Farrell NFL. I love doing work with him. I decided just to come in and pull up and chop it up with the nation tonight, man. Robert Pena says, little bro Estrada, salute fam. D Menace says, salute Ray. Salute Robert. Salute to my big bro, Robert Pena, D Menace. Anthony Provencio is in the building. Shout out to you, Anthony. I'm glad that you decided to pull up. Man, our first super chat ever on the live show goes to D Menace. Shout out to you, brother. I appreciate the $10 super chat, man. Any questions that you got later in the show, man, I'm going to get straight into it and address you. But God bless you, brother. I appreciate you dropping that $10 super chat, man. Much love to you, man. Anthony Estrada, Raiders. Anthony says he wants that Raider Ray merch. Yeah, he needs to want that Raider Ray merch because we've got some creative stuff coming down the pipeline. So without further ado, Raider Nation, I mean, we've got some of you in the building. Let everybody know where you're at tonight. Let them know that you're on Raider Ray. Nobody wants to catch that Denver Broncos and Chargers game. Now, let's hope that the Denver Broncos can squeak it out to kind of level things out in the AFC West. But let's support our Raiders content creators, man. Look, we got the Texans this week. We're going to get into talking about the Texans tomorrow with Farrell NFL. And maybe we can dabble in it a little bit tonight. But tonight we're going to just be assessing this Raiders team, assessing your guys' question, man. So let's get straight into it for everybody that's in the building. Let's not waste any type of time. Josh McDaniels. Let's start from the top and let's just work our way down this roster, right? Offensively, Raider Nation, do you believe in what Josh McDaniels is doing? Now, me personally, obviously was a big critic of the initial hire, but as the offseason went, openly I came out and said that he's kind of grown on me. I kind of like what they're doing out here, out in the desert. But we're assessing this team for the first 5 weeks, and really, to be honest with you, I've seen improvement on the offensive side of the football. Now, is this unit where it needs to be yet? No, not by any stretch of the imagination. I think Josh McDaniels, Derek Carr, they've still got a little bit ways to go. The rapport with the wide receivers, and I'm really hoping that throughout this bye week, things can get simplified a little bit for the wide receiver room. I think it's a no-brainer that the Raiders' identity is through the ground game. I think from here moving forward until the wide receivers and Derek Carr start to click on the same page, I think that you run this offense through Josh Jacobs, and I think that that's the wisest thing to do, and it's not necessarily a bad thing to do. If Josh Jacobs is a top 3 running back in the National Football League right now, then let that be your identity. Well, you got Andre James, who's 4th in the NFL up front. When it comes to run blocking, you've got a Dylan Parham who's, as a rookie, is number 1 in the NFL with win rate percentage at around 83-84%. That's good for number 1 in the league. That's okay that your center and right guard duo is out here pushing the football and resetting the line of scrimmage. I like that the Raiders have kind of created this identity through the running game. It's something early on in the season that we just shied away from, and we got way too predictable when it came to play calling. Pass, punt, and it just really stalled, and I really think it hurt the development of the offense, if I'm being quite honest with you. So to see this offense revert back to the run game has been a sight for sore. For me personally, it's been something that I've really wanted to see. So I'm glad that Josh McDaniels decided to go that route. So I think this is something, you guys, that I think that we forget that we're in a first-time offense again. So why necessarily the Raiders didn't go through a rebuild process in terms of removing talent from the roster, they did go in a rebuild process when it comes to relearning the communication and a new playbook. And a playbook, well, let's be quite honest, Raider Nation, it's not the easiest playbook to get down. So for me personally, Josh McDaniels, this offense learning a new terminology, and also on the defensive side of the football, look, they're learning a new system as well. So going into this, we couldn't just assume that they were just all going to be clicking and firing on all cylinders. But the good thing is, Raider Nation, is I do see progression week by week. I mean, when you click on the game film, you really, whether it's the offensive line, the running back room, the wide receivers, defensively, the chemistry with Derek Carr, the wide receivers, the chemistry up front with the guys moving the football, the defensive line. Chandler Jones is slowly acclimating into this defense. Max Crosby is just a bona fide star. Nate Hobbs is working his tail off. Unfortunately, he's gone into IR, injured his hand. But look, Amik Robertson step. There's a lot of good things to look forward to, and I think because we didn't find that early success that we were all expecting. I mean, let's not get anything mistaken. We were all expecting a lot more success early on. And the good news, Raider Nation, I know there's not a lot to take away from a 1-4 start, but we've all lost these games by a combined of 14 points, you guys. So they're razor close games. And look, I'm glad that the Raiders aren't getting blown out in these football games. They're competing with everybody. And now you have a good stretch where you can go out here and create a run for yourself. Let me get caught up with these comments, man. This defense is garbage. Are you talking about the Raiders defense? Let me know down in the comments, Anthony. What's good, Ray? What is good? Mike Abeezy like cereal? Milk Abeezy like cereal. What is good, boy? What a name you got. That was a little creative. I need you guys to get that creative with the show with me and Farrell. We're still looking for a show name. We want Raider Nation to be involved with it, and we want to be for the people. We want to be for the nation. So we want you guys to get creative with your show names. Yeah, Crosby is nice, but besides that, they gas. Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. You know what I mean? We do need a little bit more push, obviously, on the interior of this defensive line. Maybe somebody who can offer more of a pass rushing role. Chandler Jones did get win rate. I know that the sack, the one category that he's not showing up in is the sack category. And that's one where naturally when your defensive ends, eyes gravitate towards, right? When you're making $17 million a year, the eyes tend to gravitate towards sacks, tackles for loss, and in every other statistical category. I actually think he's doing okay. He's doing what he's asked to do. Let's just be honest. He's a far upgrade when it comes to run defense over a guy like a Yannick Ngakoue who has been struggling. But Chandler Jones has to improve when it comes to getting home to the quarterback, especially with all the attention that Max is drawn. Yeah, and we're going to get into Chandler Jones. I have a category that I don't necessarily like, to dabble in. But we're also going to take a look at bad contracts through 5 weeks of the NFL, specifically with the Las Vegas Raiders. And it's not something that I typically like to do. It's a first year on both sides. You've got new free agents coming in. It's a 1-4 start. To me, it's a little bit easy, and I don't like to do that personally. But I feel like there's a few names that we could talk about and address that right now the Raiders are not getting the value that we thought that they were going to be getting early in the offseason. So the O's been scoring points, but still, the offense could still be putting up a lot more points when it comes to the red zone efficiency. It's still It's still an issue. And Raider Nation, this is my kind of aspect of it. This is my take. I think at this point, when it comes to the red zone, we've seen the red zone struggles with John Gruden in the building. We've seen the struggles now with Josh McDaniels. And at some point, we have to ask, is this now a mental issue with the Raiders offense? Is this a thorn in the flesh that they just kind of can't seem to get over? Is this a Derek Carr thing? There's a few things to look at in this situation. Are these guys trying to get over a mental issue, a mental lapse, that because they have struggled to find efficiency in the red zone, that now when they get down there, it's a little bit of an overthinking game instead of simplifying and doing anything, whatever it takes to get into the end zone. I was going back and watching early film of Derek Carr and just his aggressiveness in the red zone, his ability to get formations lined up, get guys out wide, throw him a beautiful back shoulder fade, and get creative with his feet and hit guys deep into the end zone. It's just something that I haven't seen lately. And I don't necessarily know if it's a systematic type of thing or if it's a mental lapse type of thing. I don't know. We're going to get into it, though. Up 17-0, defense, get it done. Facts. I mean, for me, Anthony, it's gone both ways, right? A lot of the Raiders' losses early on, okay, the Chargers game, you could say you put it on Derek Carr's shoulders. The Arizona Cardinals game, you could put it on Hunter Renfro's shoulders. But there's those few games, right, where collectively the Raiders lost as a team, whether it be the defense played one half, the offense played the other half. And the first time the Raiders actually played 4 quarters, you could make the argument was the Denver Bronco game, and they found a way to get it done. Now, I do believe that the Raiders took a step forward in the Kansas City game. I think that they came out there and showed that, the Chiefs are definitely beatable. And then we see the Buffalo Bills go in there and beat Kansas City at Arrowhead. I think that gap has drawn closer between the Raiders and the Chiefs. And I think that this division is a lot closer than a lot of people want to talk about. Despite the Raiders being 1-4, they can contend and also beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I truly do believe that. Anthony says, I sort of don't. Of course, this offseason looked promising, shining back. Mad Max, Derek Carr, Hunter Renfrow, debating on the Waller extension. But his offensive calls are pretty bad. They were pretty bad early on. I will say this, though, and to kind of reiterate, it has gotten better. Josh McDaniels is taking steps forward. I think that there's more freedom between the players in the scheme as long as they're playing specifically in the rules, in the concepts of this offense. And I think moving forward, especially after this bye week, give this offense, give this defense, the team entirely, the coaching staff, the front office, let's kind of like hit the reset button and really take a long look in the mirror at what the Raiders need to do to get better moving forward. Anthony Provencio says, Ray, would you trade Waller? Look, this is a tough one, right? Me personally, I'm a big Darren Waller guy. I like his abilities, but let's just call a spade a spade. Look, the last 2 seasons, it just has not looked like the Darren Waller that we're used to. We're not getting that 1,000-yard back-to-back type of tight end that we've seen in early season. So would I trade him right now? I think you have to look at the numbers. I know that this front office is not afraid to move on from bad contracts. And since we're already kind of getting into it about should we trade Darren Waller, yes, Darren Waller did make my bad contract list through the first 5 weeks. I think it's pretty evident and pretty obvious that Darren Waller's just not who he was. Now you could say, is that the girlfriend thing? Is that sitting out of training camp? Is that him dealing with injuries? There's a lot I feel like that's going on behind the scenes about this. But to not beat around the bush, to answer your question, would I trade Darren Waller? No, not right now. And the reason why I say that is right now when Darren Waller is on the field, you can use him schematically for your advantage in this offense, meaning you can take a defensive back, a safety, linebackers, and you can use those guys to manipulate coverages and fronts. And I think that even if Darren Waller is not getting the statistical production or even on the field, let's just be honest, when he is on the field and in the lineup, he gives you an advantage when it comes to creating opportunities for other guys. And I think for that aspect right now for this season, look, I think you keep him. I really do. You sign him to an extension. You believed in him. You hyped this up all off season that he's going to be a part of your offensive system for the next however many years. And you go out there and you be aggressive and you make that extension. I think that you're kind of locked into that for at least this season. Now, next season, if he comes out and has similar production, then yeah, I think he's in the topic of conversation. But let's not do the first 5 weeks. Let's not just say because somebody's statistically or health reasons isn't on the field. Let's not just be quick to hop on the trade block. Let teams like the Washington Commanders, let teams like the Texans and the Panthers, let those teams kind of clear house. Unless somebody comes with a ridiculous offer. Now, if somebody comes with a ridiculous offer for him, I think that you really have to sit down and listen, especially if it upgrades your team right now to where you need it. Then I think you really do have to listen to it to answer your question. Auntie Six with a $2 donation, man. I appreciate you, Auntie Six. Thank you, brother. Congratulations, Ray. Raiders. And shout out to y'all, man, for the super chats. This is the first night that we're actually eligible to drop super chats, and everything that is donated to this show, man, it goes right back into production. We're talking multiple camera angles, new setups. I've got a lot. I've got a big, big dream for this channel, and we'll get there eventually. Shout out to the nation. I was public enemy number 1 in Wasted's chat defending Waller. I mean, dude, it's still so early. Let's not just jump ship yet. What happens when he comes and puts together back-to-back games and really opens up this offense, and then it's everything that we were talking about the offseason when it comes schematically hard to defend this offense with the amount of weapons that you have. So let's just be patient, Raider Nation. And look, there's 15 of you. There should be 15 likes, man. Let everybody know where you're at tonight. Share the link. The more people that jump into this, the better the algorithm. So everybody, if we can, smash that like button and let everybody know where you're at tonight, man. Shout out to the nation. Luis Lopez says Hobbs on the IR is going to hurt us. Do we play Averett on the outside? I think that's the move right now. I know we signed somebody to the practice squad from the Chargers, I do believe. And there is also talks of the trade deadline of some cornerbacks that want a fresh start. I think William Jackson is one of them. Out of Washington, I believe that's his name. Another good defensive back, carrying a really big dead cap hit though. I know he's due $15 million next season, so that's a little bit rich for me, especially when Rock Ya-Sin is having the type of season that he's having. And look, Rock Ya-Sin, you guys, he's had 148 coverage snaps, 16 targets, 7 receptions, 93 yards, no touchdowns, and 5 PBUs. Rock Ya-Sin is going to earn himself a contract. He's in the last year of a rookie deal, and he has been balling out for the Raiders, and I think he's another guy that goes unnoticed. He flies under the radar because you don't hear his name all that much, right? Rock Ya-Sin's playing his tail off right now, man. Him and Nate Hobbs, and shout out to Nate Hobbs for coming back late in the game. You could tell that hand was bothering him. You could tell that the hand had a lot of issues when it came to tackling efficiency. But look, I think you put Averett on the outside for sure. That or Sam Webb. I think Sam Webb is going to get some more snaps moving forward. I think he's kind of earned that role. And look, get Amik Robertson in there. If you can get Amik Robertson in this groove, in this momentum of creating turnovers, whether it's a fumble recovery or interception, I don't care, whatever the case may be. This is a guy who had 14 turnovers in college. This is why the Raiders went out and got him. And if you can get this guy consistently, just being around the football, sometimes every defense, you get one of those guys, right, that just gravitates to the football and always just seems to be in the right place at the right time. If that's Amik Robertson, then move forward with Amik and get him involved in the game here and there, and let him be opportunistic when it comes to creating turnovers. I think trading Waller for a 4th round pick or some BS player is trash, and I can't believe clowns will even question that. That is a horrible trade. Like, if I'm going to move on from Darren Waller, you're going to have to give me something special. Darren Waller is a top player at his position when he's healthy, when his head is in the game. There's no mistaking it. Darren Waller is elite in that category. Say what you want about these first 5 weeks or even moving it back into the 2021 season. Darren Waller is still a premier player at his position, and there's a lot of teams around the National Football League that would give you a call if he was really on the trade block, and you're going to get a lot more than a trash player and a 4th round pick. I can guarantee you that. Look, if somebody were to offer you a 1st round draft pick, You got to think about it. You know, you actually have to at least sit down and think about it. Now, would I still make the move? I don't know. It really depends on what the Raiders' plan is for this season. Are they all in? Is the locker room still all in? Like I really do believe they are. Or up top at the top of the organization, are they already setting their eyes on next year? We're going to find out a lot of that here in the next coming weeks, right? Because if we drop games against the Texans and the Saints and the Jags, I think it's going to be pretty evident of what's going on behind the scenes in the Raiders organization and what their plans are moving forward for the future. So, look, if the Raiders go out here and lose the next 3 games, or 3 of the 4 games they lose them, naturally you have to start looking towards next season. Are you going to land middle of the draft in no man's land, or are you going to land to the top of the draft and potentially get a guy who can help change around the franchise? I don't know. It's a bit unfortunate to be discussing it in those terms, but I mean, it's just where we are. Hey, I'll definitely DM you. But did you get the stats I sent about the team are better than the? Yeah, I did, and I sent them to Farrell. Me and Farrell had a discussion. Sean Johnson, I'm about to call him Sean Scheffner. He's just the Adam Scheffner of Raider Nation. And Sean, I love it, man. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep sending me the stuff. I love our interactions. I love our conversations behind the scenes, and I love that you're always on it, man. You are on it, so stay about it. Chandler's been drawing attention too. We should have paid Bradbury. It would have helped for $7 million. James Bradbury is balling right now. Look, could you imagine if you get James Bradbury, Rock Ya-Sin, Nate Hobbs? That's a nasty secondary. That is nasty. And I do think that Chandler Jones is slowly coming around, but we'll see, man. We'll see. Digital Perez is in the building. Shout out to you, Digital Perez. And look, everybody that is subscribed to me, go over to Digital Perez, man. He's been working. He's been working his tail off, doing his shorts, doing live. And Digital Perez, man, at some point, we're going to have to link up and talk. You've been good to me. Digital Perez also did the intro to the show. So, hey, I owe you one. So let's get your face in front of some people, man. So it's all love and support over here. Everybody go subscribe to Digital Perez, man, and show him some love. Chronicles of the Black Hole, the fourth quarter last possession magic hasn't happened this year. Nope. And this is the margin that we talked about. Remember, OG, that the NFL is so good, right? And the margin of error is this much each and every single week. Every single team is beatable. And especially this year, I think everybody can agree the NFL is a little bit odd this season, right? I mean, look at the Jets. The Jets are 4-2 right now. And I mean, you have to be able to capitalize off of plays here and there. I mean, a few calls went the Raiders' way last year. A few lucky bounces of the football. Some really clutch plays by Derek Carr. Look, it was just a different season. And look, the Raiders won a lot of close games last year by 3 or less. Those easily could have swung the other way, and the Raiders don't make the postseason. So this is the National Football League. This is it. You know, this is what we watch it for. Salute Prezi. Salute OG Daniel. Oh, geez, Hefe's in the building. I'm not even acknowledging you, Hefe. Anthony says, I'm definitely rooting for Mariota. Facts, I am too. Salute to the chat. Digital Press says, Al's Ghost is in the building. He says, salute Raider Nation. Salute to you, brother. ESPN predicts us to go 12-5. And look, there's a reason why the National Football League is a well-oiled machine. I don't think it's by coincidence that the Raiders have a ton of primetime games towards the end of the year. I think with this soft schedule in the middle of our that what we're about to walk into, the Texans, the Saints, the Texans, Saints, Colts, Chargers, Jags, all these clumps of games that I really do feel like we could go out here and really compete and win some football games and kind of go on a little run here. 5 of the next 6 games they're definitely winnable. Now, I'm of the mindset, I'm a little bit old school. I want to take this one game at a time, especially when we're 1-4. I don't want to look at a chunk of 5 games and say we can win all 5 of these. Even though, look, I do believe on paper that we should win all of these 5 games, I'm taking it one game at a time because of something that I just said. The game is literally decided by this much. And with the Raiders being 1-4 and we've lost all of our points, we've lost 4 games by a combined total of 14 points. You got to take it game by game, and you have to go 1-0 each week. If the Raiders can develop that mindset, and I think that they're going to, I think that the Raiders can really go on a run. 12-5, maybe not. 10-7, I think that's a real possibility. So, and maybe right now with how the AFC is structured, I don't think that the AFC is that dominant. I mean, you've got the Bills, the Chiefs, right now the 4-2 Jets. If the Chargers win tonight, they're also 4-2. But everybody outside of those top four teams, like 5 to whatever the case is going to be. I mean, you get a lot of 3-3 teams, a lot of 3-2 teams, 2-3 teams. So the season is still wide open for the Raiders to go on a run here and get right back into the mix. And if you can at least get into the mix, that's where us as Raider Nation needs to see this organization get to. Averett is back. Yeah. Yeah. Averett is going to be back. Let's see. Sean has returned to practice, but he's working his way up to play to the game. You weren't trying to pile on when I was fighting off all the Waller haters. Is this to me, Anthony? I don't know if this is to me or to somebody in the chat. Anthony Provencio says, "Thank you, Ray." Exactly. Boom. Exactly. A first round pick. That's when you think about it. Okay, so I'm a little behind. Let me get caught up a little bit. Richard Lyon in the building. Shout out to you, Richard, man. Just dropping by to show you some love, Ray. Shout out to you, brother. I appreciate you for pulling up. And look, moderators, Hefe, I always welcome and I never kick people out, bro. But look, you come in here trolling. You come in here trolling, talking reckless. Let's be honest, bro. You just came off of a loss, and the refs walked you back into the Kansas City Chiefs game. We're not going to go back and reiterate everything that happened. You can sit here and talk about the Chris Jones thing. You could talk everything that you want to talk about. You got walked back into that football game. You know it. I know it. And you lost by 1 point to the Las Vegas Raiders, this team that you say is trash. You were tightening up your butt cheeks, buddy, when the Raiders had the ball on that last drive. And don't front like you didn't. So, Hefe, you can come in here and talk, but the time is coming when the Raiders are going to put it on the Chiefs, and it's going to be nice. And you better be able to take everything that you've been dishing out, because it's not going to be good for you. And if I could give you some advice, it would be to chill out. I mean, go support your Chiefs content creators like you support Raider content creators. I think it's just a little wild and a little bit bugging that you would come over to Raiders content creators and just stir up other people's live shows when you go follow some of your Chiefs and go support some positive energy and quit getting on these Raider content creators, man. We're out here just supporting our team just like you would support your football team. So it could be that too, Anthony, that Waller couldn't be looked at that much, but that's because you have options to trust on the offense now. Waller's a top 5 when healthy, but not on training right now. Yeah. Facts. I know I felt Prezi, but yeah. In the Darren Waller situation, to backpack off of what Digital Prez is saying, yeah. I mean, we kind of addressed it a few minutes ago, is that Darren Waller is a top player at his position. So moving on from him, I don't necessarily think is a great idea. I really don't. Be patient. I mean, we've been patient this entire time. We've been staying the course. We're 1-4, and we're not throwing in the towel yet, Raider Nation. I know it's tough, but look, we're going 12 rounds, right? And somebody's going to have to put us away before we throw in the towel and say that this season's over. Look, I'm in this for 12 rounds. I'm biting down on the mouthpiece, and I'm going to war with my team. So, and I know I got a whole bunch of people behind me in silver and black that feel the same way. So everybody put your mouthpiece in and bite down, man, because it's going to be a tough fight. It's an uphill battle, but we got a lot of time left, right? We're in round 5, right? We've got 17 rounds to go, so we still got 12 rounds to go. Actually, sorry. Hefe said I never said the Raiders were trash. Actually, I said the Raiders were a good team. Yeah, Waller's up in the air, to be honest. All right, let's talk about Derek Carr. Derek Carr, I know this is an iffy conversation. Nobody likes to talk about him, but on my show, I'm not afraid to talk about it. A single thing. I've got opinions, and I've got opinions, and I'm going to stand by him. So, Derek Carr, is he getting better? And I would honestly say, yeah, I think he's getting better. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean statistically is he getting better, but is his understanding of the offense getting better? I would say so. And I don't even like to give Derek Carr all the excuses, but 7 head coaches and all the offensive coordinators and learning this new system and that new system, all these new wide receivers, like at some point, I mean, you got to kind of understand that it's always kind of like take 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And I think we've seen when he's in a scheme and a system for an extended amount of time, he does naturally get better. So when you're talking about, an Andy Reid and a Patrick Mahomes that have been working in an offensive scheme together for 4 years, 5 seasons, whatever the case is right now, and then you lose to the Chiefs by 1 point, and you're a head coach quarterback relationship that's been working 5 weeks together, there's some good things. I mean, the way Derek Carr stepped up in the pocket and delivered that second Devontae Adams touchdown was just beautiful. That reminded me of the throw that he had in the Pro Bowl to T.Y. Hilton in double coverage, just stepped up in the pocket, launched a dot downfield. I mean, those are things, those are signs and flashes of what the offense is moving forward. However, they're not a finished product. I don't necessarily think that stats tell the whole story, but they do paint a picture. And the fact that Derek Carr hasn't thrown more than 3 touchdowns in a game in 2 years is alarming to me. That is something that has got to change, right? Derek Carr needs to get involved. And a lot of that has to do with the efficiency in the red zone. I mean, there are countless games, even this season, that there's been multiple drops in the end zones, miscommunications, where Derek Carr would have put up well over 3 touchdowns. So it's small assignment issues here and there. It's schematic, not being caught up in the system, and Derek Carr being where he needs to be. But Raider Nation, let me know where you're at with Derek Carr. Do you believe he's getting better? And let me throw out a hypothetical. If the Raiders were to land in the top 5 of the draft, right? And you have an opportunity to go out and get what is talked about, what's being hyped up to be a first-year rookie quarterback that has potential star power to really turn around the organization. Do you pull the trigger on that? And if so, it raises the question for me personally, does the Raiders offense take another step back? And let me explain. Derek Carr gets better in offensive systems as years go on, and he develops a relationship with the offensive coordinator. Obviously, this is Derek Carr's first year with Josh McDaniels, and if he were to depart from the Raiders next season, which I don't think is going to be the case, and say they were to bring on a rookie, are you now putting yourself in the same situation that the Raiders are in right now, a rookie quarterback coming in and learning this huge playbook that is extremely diverse, a ton of terminology, a ton of concepts? Do you put all of that on a rookie and go out there and think that you're going to compete right away? Or are you putting yourself in a similar situation that the Raiders are in right now? If it's me personally, I'm going to move forward with DC right now, and I'm going to take the gamble that his rapport with Devontae Adams, Josh McDaniels, Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller, all these guys that he's been playing with is going to get better over the course of time. We're in a very instant world right now. We're in a world that if something doesn't work out right away, if you don't develop within the first 7 weeks of the year, if you don't go out there and win your first 5 of 7 games, people are ready to throw the towel in on you and give up. That's just the world that we live in now. The NFL is not in a place where they allow people to develop, and the teams that do allow people to develop, they had success. I mean, look at the Justin Herberts, look at the Jalen Hurts of the world. I mean, look at what he's doing in Philadelphia. There was a lot of people ready to throw the towel in on Jalen Hurts, and they because they didn't want him to develop, because we live in this social media generation where everything is 30 seconds or less. I like to call it microwavable development. Everybody wants to throw their quarterback in the microwave, and if he doesn't develop in those 30 seconds, then they're quick to move on and they're on to the next guy. And I just don't believe that that's how you sustain success over the course of a National Football League. I'm tired of the microwave development. I'm in this for the long run, and I really do believe that if this is the head coach that the Raiders are going to move forward in the future with, then I think that you do have to be patient, regardless of the amount of talent that they threw on the roster. So let me get to these comments, man. What do you guys think about the DC situation? And how do you guys feel about the Raiders as a whole right now through the first 5 weeks of the season? Raider Casper says, after 5 weeks, we lost by a total of 14 points. Our offense is the 8th highest scoring in the NFL. Our defense is the 28th highest in points allowed. Hard to win games like that. It's facts. On both sides of the football in the red zone, things have to be tightened up. I mean, you have got to tighten things up when it comes to red zone efficiency, and that's the margin of winning and losing in this National Football League, right? It is creating an efficient offense and an efficient defense. And we have to be more opportunistic when it comes to creating turnovers. We've got to get more hands on the football. You know, when your defense is settling points like that, you have to find ways to get creative in causing turnovers. That goes on Chandler Jones. You know, that goes into the secondary. I know Nate Hobbs is balling out of his mind. Rock Ya-Sin's balling out of his mind. But we need these guys to also create turnovers. Deron Harmon has been a guy that has kind of been a ball magnet, kind of as advertised as we discussed this offseason. Trayvon Merrick, I know everybody is bad. I mean, let's talk about Trayvon Merrick for a minute. Everybody is trashing Trayvon Merrick, and Trayvon Merrick is a good safety, okay? Let me put that out there. Trayvon Merrick is a good safety. In this Patrick Graham defense, we told you early on in the offseason, on this channel at least, I can't speak for everybody else, we told you that Trayvon Merrick is going to be asked to do a lot more in this Patrick Graham defense. In that Gus Bradley single high safety cover 3 concept, he was the eraser, everything over the top. And then his duty was come and to clean up bad plays, to be an efficient tackler. And that was strictly his primary duty. I mean, there was even Gus Bradley came out and said, hey, we just got to tell Trayvon not to get bored back there. That's how little they put on their safeties in that cover 3 system. Patrick Graham, on the other hand, Patrick Graham is going to line him up in the slot. He's going to ask to bracket. He's going to be single high. He's going to be doing split coverage back there, split safety field. He's going to come down in the box and get aggressive in the run game. I mean, he's going to be asked to do everything. And in that, you're going to be put in a lot more situations where there's a lot more room for error. And he's also learning a new position in that aspect. So I think that there has to be patience with Trayvon Merrick. Overall, he did pretty good against Travis Kelce. I mean, if you looked at the stat lines outside of the 4 touchdowns in the red zone, which was atrocious, by the way, I'm not even going to defend it. That's just absolutely absurd, especially when you look at 7 receptions for 30 yards. I mean, 27 yards. That's remarkable. You would look at that stat line alone and say, hey, the Raiders had an opportunity to win the football game. It was the 4 touchdowns in the red zone where the Raiders have got to clean it up. And that's just been the story of the season. It's you've got to find the ability to go out there and create turnovers and really tighten up things when it comes to the red zone. Webb is going to need to step up with Hobbs out. Facts, man. I really do believe that. Webb needs to step up, and I think he has some capabilities, especially in this man coverage scheme. I'm curious to see what kind of moves the Raiders make at the trade deadline. I think that they're going to be pretty aggressive in it. Not to say that they're going to go out and get a superstar, but I do think that you're going to see a move or maybe possibly 2 being made. So stay tuned for that, man, and we'll keep you updated. Raider Ray, I believe Chandler gets his first sack as a Raider coming this Sunday. Finally broke out against the Chiefs, got a hold on Patrick Mahomes a couple times, but no sacks. What do you think? And I think that this is the best time to go out there and do it, Anthony. I think that, I mean, we're 5 weeks into the season, especially in this group of games where you can really go out there and earn an opportunity to win. Yeah, we need all of our defensive players to start stepping up now. And I think this is that stretch where you start to create and form your identity and move forward in developing it every week. You're a run-heavy team. You're a good run-defending team. Okay, build on that identity and start getting creative. Shed away some of the things that weren't working for you and apply things that you were successful at and that you're actually good at and move forward with that. I think that that's something that the Raiders are going to do. I do believe that this is a very smart coaching staff, and I think that they really do want to win. So I think that they're going to objectively look at this situation as a whole and move forward and make the best decisions for the Raiders organization, and that's where I'm at with it. So, yeah, I guess that was my question was, is it the offense's issue? Is it the defense's issue? And for me, you guys, collectively, I think it's a team issue. I think that they have to find a way to put 4 quarters together as a single unit. But yeah, Raider Nation, start dropping your questions, man. I'm going to actually open up the panel too. So if there's anybody that wants to join and want to come on and just talk, tonight is going to be the show for you guys. Or if there's somebody that you want to see come on, share it to send them the link on IG and see if they can pull up. But this is an opportunity for you guys to come on and talk to me, especially some of you guys that haven't been on live streams before. You know, I really like to get personal with my chat. I like to get creative with them. I like to know them more, and I want to know your guys' true opinion. You know what I mean? It's not easy to sit here and come on before the world where all your opinions are documented. There's receipts. So I would really love to see people come on here, man, and chime into the show. So I dropped the link. If you guys are available, pull up and let's have a discussion. OG, if you're in the building, I'd love to sit down and see you. Yeah, you guys come and pull up and spend some time with me, man. Raider Casper, do you think it's Webb for Hobbs, or will they elevate Tavon Campbell and have him take over? I think you're going to see him, especially with the releasing of Bryce Cosby. Yeah, I do see Sam Webb getting involved. And I do think it's him in. Anthony Averett is actually also called to be back, so I could see Anthony Averett be put on the outside. But you're going to see some Sam Webb. You're going to see a Meek Robertson, and I think eventually you're going to see a Tavon Campbell. I don't know how quickly he can pick up this concept, so we'll see. That'll be strictly on him. A lot of man coverage situations, I would imagine. But yeah, Sam Webb is going to get involved. Amika is going to get involved. I think right now, though, it's going to be Averett and Rock Yassin on the outside. And then in the slot, you're going to kind of mix and match everything. You're going to put Averett down into the slot at times. You're going to pull Trayvon Merrick down into the slot. So there's a lot of creativity. It's not just one solid locked in position. Anthony Provencio says, I want to see Kuntz get some reps. Yeah. And I think moving forward, you're going to see more reps coming from Malcolm Kuntz. Obviously, Anthony, I think you've been following our channel, man. This is something that we've been talking about, right? We've been talking about Malcolm Kuntz getting more involved in the game, getting activated, maybe taking some of those reps early on away from Chandler Jones. Maybe first down, Chandler Jones gets those run reps, but on second downs and maybe even on some third downs, man, you're going to get Malcolm Kuntz involved in the game. I just think he's too good of a talent to keep him on the sidelines, and you got to find a way to get creative, even if you have to line him up as an outside linebacker in the 3-4 and really get him a designed blitz that it benefits him. Malcolm Kuntz just offers you too much when it comes to pass rush. I really do think that you got to get him and find ways to get him on the football field. So I agree, Anthony. Ray, what do you think about Bryce Cosby getting waived? I think he's going to get brought back to the practice squad. I think you have to go out and make a move. And, I do believe Bryce clears waivers, and I think that you'll see him back on the practice squad. If anything, that what the Raiders have shown is if they release a guy and he clears waivers, typically they bring him back to the practice squad. They've been working with him all year. He's in the scheme. He knows the guys. It's just a move to make, you guys. So I wouldn't really look at it as like some big loss because I don't really think that it is. But I do believe Tyron Johnson was brought back to the practice squad. So I wouldn't get too discouraged about it. Bryce Cosby should be back. Shout out to Daniel Kim, man. Another donation, man. And everybody, this is the first night for Super Chats. So I really appreciate all your guys' support, all the financial giving that you guys give to Raider Ray, the show. It's going right back into the studio and concepts. I got to give me a new chair. I got this 1820s rocking chair, boy. And let me tell you what, when I'm done with these live shows, it does a number on my back. So we're going to be doing upgrades, new chairs, new lighting. We're going to new camera angles. We're constantly going to be bringing you guys the best possible content. So everything that gets donated to the channel, man, we're also going to be giving it back with merch. So we just got a lot of things moving down the pipeline. Anthony Provencio says, what do you think of Clee Farrell? I think Clee Farrell is a guy that does his job. I mean, that's my opinion. I think that Clee Farrell does his job. He does what he's asked to do. I think that Cleveland Farrell is what he is at this point, right? He's a good run defender. He's not going to blow you away with statistics. He's going to be average when it comes to getting after the quarterback, not necessarily in the sack category, but creating pressures and being disruptive. And I just think he's kind of one of those gadget defensive linemen. You can kick him inside, kick him outside. He's versatile, but he's never going to blow you away with production. He's just going to play good football. Never going to live up to that number 4 overall pick, unfortunately. It was definitely a reach by that last regime. I like Clee Farrell. I like his work ethic. I like his standing. I like his standards off of the field. I like what he stands for. But I love it, man. I like Cleveland Farrell. I don't see him sticking around as a Raider. But hopefully he can move forward, right? I hope he gets a fresh start and really finds a way to to really kind of resurrect his career a little bit. Who's the top linebacker, draft pick, or free agent that we can get next season? Anthony, I haven't looked too deep into the linebacker situation, specifically in the draft or free agency. It's one of those things that are pretty fluid. And until college football season wraps up, there's a lot of tape to go over, right? So it's still a little bit early for me in the process of diagnosing talent. I don't typically start my processes yet. I'm still pretty all in on watching the film on the Raiders and how the Raiders can improve, because I do think that the Raiders can figure some things out. So I don't want to lie to you, and I'm not going to come on here and just cap and just come up with stuff, Anthony. So I tell you what, let me do some research in the next live that I do, a solo live. I'll have a little bit of an updated answer for you, and maybe I'll take a look at some people. But look, when the Raiders season wraps up and I really sit down and watch a ton of film on prospects, there's a lot of linebackers to go through. We're not just talking about big name prospects from, your Alabamas, your Georgias, your Clemsons. We're talking about also down to your Fresno States and, your Central Michigans, and there's a lot of prospects to look for, right? So just be patient with me, and I'll have a in-depth discussion on guys who I think would fit this scheme specifically. So that's how I feel about it. Team Menace, man. Shout out to you, man. $5 super chat for a new chair. Hey, that should give me one, right? $5. That should give me one. No, man, I appreciate the love. I appreciate your donations, man. You've been very fruitful tonight donating to the show, and much love, much respect to you guys. We're also going to be having memberships pop up, man. So I'm in the work behind the scenes of developing that right now. So we got some really creative stuff down the pipeline for everybody who wants to become a member. And I'm going to keep those prices low because I just want more members, and I want it to be affordable for Raider Nation. I want this to not be a burden on people. I want this to be a place where it's an enjoyable experience, where they can come and break away, get clean Raiders content, focus on football. And also where we can personally relate. So I'm going to also have live shows for members only, where, man, we could just get down there and talk life. We can talk things that run a little bit deeper than X's and O's, man. So I think that'll be really beneficial for a lot of people, and I want to give them that opportunity. So yeah. Anthony says, isn't Roquan available? If he is, I mean, that's somebody you would definitely make a call on, I don't think he's on the trade block. I really don't. And he's going to get a big contract, but I'd kind of pay him. You know what I mean? I would definitely give him a contract. Excuse me. I would definitely give him a contract extension over a Roquan Smith, over a Denzel Perryman. Look, I'm a Denzel Perryman fan. I like his run defensibility. I think our defense is different when he's in the football game, but how much more when he can get a sideline to sideline linebacker like a Roquan Smith in coverage. Next offseason, I'd look for the linebacker position. I think, Anthony, you're onto something. It is going to be a position that I think the Raiders are going to have to address, and don't be surprised if they go out there and make a kind of splashy move at that position, which I'll be excited about. But, man, I'm locked in on this season, man. Like I said, I haven't thrown in my towel yet. My mouthpiece is still in, and I'm ready for war. So, hey, if Roquan Smith is available and the Raiders were to make a move, I would give that probably a 5% chance of actually happening. But if it were to happen, man, Anthony, I'm going to give you your flowers and say, hey, the Raiders really nailed a home run on this move. Snoop's in the building. He says, salute Raider Ray, salute Raider Nation. Shout out to you, Snoops. I love to see you pull up, man. I love your interaction with the show. It means a lot to me. Anthony says, how was your bye week? Extremely relaxing. Just a dub on fantasy. Us as Raider fans, we also extremely needed a break because, of course, it's completely frustrating being a Raider fan. We bleed silver and black. And look, that's exactly why on this show, and me and Farrell did that as well, man. We went on there and we were like, hey, look, we look at the game very similar. I mean, we differ in a few aspects, but, man, we're really laid back, and there's times where you have to reel your emotions back. I bleed silver and black too. I bleed silver and black too, and I get emotional too, especially in that Kansas City Chiefs game. That one hurt. That one hurt a lot. I'm going to be honest with you. But at the same time, as soon as that game goes done and that next day comes along, like, I couldn't really even sleep that night. I wanted to go live and discuss it with you guys, but I probably would have got on here and said things I shouldn't have said. So I just reeled myself back in. And we keep it relaxed, man, because I think if the Raider Nation got more calm responses and let's just sit down and let's not sit here and vent and complain, because there is a time and a space to vent and complain, but let's also talk about how this team could actually get better. And that's an aspect to the game that I try to bring here on this channel, is just a calm, relax. Hey, look, this didn't go our way, but how can we fix this? How can we address this and actually apply it? You know what I mean? Because we can get all emotional, we can get all worked up, and all those things that we do as passionate fans. But however, how can we look at this situation and say, hey, look, the Raiders lost this in this area, but how can we get better? How can we improve? How can we get this offense, this defense in a situation to go out there and compete? What changes need to be made to see the Raiders get into the win column? And I think that is a big aspect of what I like to bring to the Raider Nation, especially when it comes to creating content. Bambino 2678 says 30 players under contract next year, $36 million in cap space. And I think that number is going to go up. You know, there's going to be some things, some wiggle and shaking. And look, $36 million gives you room to be flexible when it comes to going out and getting what you need. I think after another free agency, look, if the Raiders are hovering around that $40 million mark and then can go out and land a really good draft, the Raiders are in a really good situation, you guys, moving forward, to go out there and really compete with the best of them. They're already there. The Raiders can compete with the best of them right now. It's just little details of the game. That's what they need to figure out. It's not a talent issue. It's a discipline issue. It's a execution issue. It's a communication issue. That's where the Raiders need to improve. It's not necessarily bringing in more talent. You can bring in all the talent in the world, but if everybody's not on the same page, you're going to get the same product. Really, I want to see this team anchor down and become more efficient when it comes to the small details of football. And I think that's where you're going to see big improvements for the Raiders organization. Yeah, the Cardinals game, Chiefs game was completely frustrating. I absolutely agree. Daniel Kim says maybe the name of the show is Bleed Silver and Black with Raider Ray and Farrell NFL. I like that. I really do. Hey, let me run that by with Farrell. I'll send him to it. I don't know if he's watching tonight or not. I don't know. But if he is watching, hopefully he sees that. I'm going to send that to him, actually, Daniel. I like that, man. I really do. What's your thoughts on the Raiders passing game so far this season? The play call, execution, and tight end play. So look, let's start with the play calling. The play calling has been iffy, and there's been a lot of things to question. However, a lot of it's been blown out of proportion by the fan base as well. Not to come at you guys or myself. I understood the 2-point conversion. I understood the aspect that it makes the Chiefs play the offensive game a little bit different. And if you're putting the game on the defense anyways, say you convert on that 2-point conversion, and they do get a defensive stand, which they ultimately did go on and get, the game essentially is over. You know, you run the football 3 times and then you kneel it, and now you won a game by 1. You know what I mean? Now you're winning the game by 1. So I know a lot of people were giving him crap on the 2-point conversion. And in the moment, I was giving him crap. I'm like, what are we doing? Why are we going for 2 right now? Hindsight is 2020. And when I seen what the long-term vision of it was, I understand what he was doing with it. The 4th down where the wide receivers ran into each other, that's not on Josh McDaniels. That's communication of the wide receivers. It's just a little error. I think, look, let's be real, Raider Nation. If a few plays here and there go another way, right, like they did last season for the Raiders, how the ball and the momentum just swung in a certain way for the Raiders, we'd be talking about how Josh McDaniels is coaching a 4-1 football team or a 3-2 football team, and that we like him and we like the direction and we're fired up and we're going to go on this run and be this good of a football team. And really, you guys, it's literally a play here or there. And you gotta start, instead of saying play call, let's move over to that execution, because the execution is what makes the play calling look bad. When you have Darren Waller dropping balls in the red zone, when you have Hunter Renfrow fumbling the football in overtime and the Cardinals go and take it for a score, when you have Devontae Adams running into Hunter Renfrow, just miscommunication, that's what makes play calling look bad, is execution on the football field. So these two things go hand in hand, Raider Nation, and I know a lot of people don't talk about it in that aspect, but look, when they do click, right, look at the Mac Hollins, right? Look at how he was able to fit into the offense. Look at Devontae Adams and Derek Carr in that Kansas City Chiefs game outside of that final play. When you get that cover zero look early on in the game on fourth down and you get aggressive and you take a shot, nobody was complaining about the play calling there because it paid off. Why? Because the Raiders executed offensively and Devontae Adams was able to take advantage of a coverage look that ultimately the Chiefs handed you. Late in the game, you just didn't execute on the play calling. You also hit that dot late down in the game in double coverage where Derek Carr couldn't have put a better ball in place for Devontae to go out there and get it, and the Raiders go down by 1 point. So look, execution and play calling are a double-sided coin. You have to execute in order for the play calling to pay out and work out. And tight end play. Tight end play obviously has been underwhelming. I think that's pretty easy to say. Play calling's been the tight end play has just not really been there. Jesper Horsted stepped up, and he's been an okay possession type of guy. He doesn't blow you away when it comes to talent. He's okay in run blocking. Foster Moreau, I'd like to see Foster Moreau get more involved, especially in the red zone. I think he's an underutilized aspect, and I think he's been a little bit underutilized in the past, I'd say, 2 seasons. Obviously, Darren Waller is the Darren Waller situation. It's obviously not ideal. It hasn't been where it needs to be by any means. Darren Waller needs to get healthy. He needs to get his mind right. He needs to get in the football game, and he has to get back to playing elite level football. There's no excuses. There is none. So as far as the tight end room, a little bit underwhelming, but I think it really provides a lot in the run game. So I'm not going to take away, while they haven't been explosive in the passing game, you can't deny what they've been able to do as a run blocking concept. Bambino says you can't fix everything in 1 year, and that's facts. Even if you go and overhaul the roster, that's where we as content creators fell a little bit short, right? And I'm only going to speak for myself. When Josh McDaniels was hired and we seen them flood this roster, we're thinking 10-7 football team flooded with Devontae Adams, Chandler Jones, yada yada yada. We've gone down the laundry list of additions that they've made to the team. You get caught up in this like, wow, we did nothing but improve. But we don't look at it as, hey, look, this is a whole new scheme on the defensive side of the football, a new identity when it comes to offensive terminology and a new playbook, and that these new offensive weapons, while Derek Carr and Devontae have played together in times past, it's a completely new system. There's been a lot of gap in time since when they actually played live football. They played collegiate football together, not competition like the National Football League. Things are just a lot different right now. So yeah, things don't improve over a year, which is why I say, hey, you stay the course and you stick with Derek Carr moving forward and just allow this offense. We've seen glimpses and flashes of what this offense can be. And I think when it's clicking on all cylinders, you're talking about a Ferrari. You're talking about a Ferrari offense. And I just think right now the engine misfires here and there, right? You're just not, it's not firing 100%. So we need to get those adjusted. We need those fine tunes. And once you get that engine fine tuned and you get those kinks worked out, you're talking about a Ferrari out there on the field. D Menace says, I see us going on a 3-game win streak and being back in the mix. And I agree. And I think if you do that, D Menace, I think if you can go out here and rattle off these next 3 and get in that, you're in that 4-3 or 4-4 range, you're right back in the mix, especially with what has been a little bit underwhelming of an AFC. Look, the whole NFL as a whole right now, the first 5 weeks of the season has been a little bit weird, right? I think we could all collectively agree. There's been a lot of surprise teams. There's been a lot of mediocre play. So yeah, you go win these next 3 games, and I think you're right back in the mix. I really do. Now, once you get to that 4-4 level, again, I told you I'm a game at a time type of guy, but let's just say hypothetically we were at that 4-4 level. Now it's really time to start settling in and seeing where this offense can go. And that's where we're going to see if Josh McDaniels can get this team to go on a win streak, then I think things are on the up and up. I really do. Especially if they can go out here and start putting teams away. You know, if you can make it pretty decisive, kind of like the Denver game where you're kind of always in control of that football game. If you can go out here and put 17 up on a team, like beat them by 17, or you go out and beat a Texans team, 30-17, those are the type of wins that I think could be huge for the Raiders moving forward. Anthony says exactly execution. Facts, bro. Anthony Provencio says facts. D-Menace says Raiders. Anthony Estrada says, even if we end in a winning season but don't make the playoffs, that's another step to positive. Yeah, and I know everybody's like, look, if the Raiders don't make the playoffs, it's a bust. And I get both sides of the coin. You go to the playoffs at a 10-7 record last year with Rich Bisaccia and Henry Ruggs situation, and look, but last year was last year, and the story of last year is so much different from the story of this year. In these situations, right, of points swinging one direction or another, and football games being decided by this much, the games are just falling in the opposite way that they were falling last year for the Raiders. So you can make the argument that the Raiders are in the same situation, just the football is swinging the other way. So the NFL is obviously all about small decisions, short games, close games, and people executing late in football games. That's where we need to see the Raiders get better. So if the Raiders can go and have a winning record, I think that'd be huge, especially for a first-time head coach. Not first-time head coach, but a guy who got an opportunity from not head coaching for almost a decade to come in here to a new scheme, new system, new guys, new face, really has a lot of pressure to really lead this organization to the right direction. And also, let's be honest, he's a guy that came with a lot of criticism. So he had to fight that as well and go out there and kind of prove that wrong. So yeah, a winning record would be good for the Raiders, but ultimately, I'm not going to give up on that playoff. Like, we got to talk about it. We have to say that, hey, look, we're all in and we're going to make a push for the playoffs, because I just think the Raiders are too talented. And I think if they can figure out how to win football games, it's got to happen now, though. I'm not going to make any excuse. It's got to happen now. The Raiders have got to learn how to win football games now, and you got to do it against teams like the Texans. You got to do it against teams like the Saints. You've got to do it against the teams like Jags and Colts. I'm not saying that these are pushover teams, but these teams give you an opportunity to go out there and win and figure out ways to win, right? That's what the Raiders need right now. And if you could do that over the next course of this next month, I think that you're setting yourself up for a really, really good situation when you go and play the Rams, the Chargers, the Chiefs, all those teams late into the season. With the Raiders coming off of a bye, what do you like about our matchup against Houston, and what concerns you? So just another DJ. Tomorrow I'm going live with Farrell NFL, where we do preview shows where we talk about our opponents, we talk about matchups and everything. Just to give you a little bit of a preview, I'm not going to get too into it because I want to save it for the show tomorrow. So I hope that you tune in, and I hope that you contribute to the show with comments like this, because we absolutely love it. But with the Raiders coming off of a bye week, what do I like about the matchup against the Houston Texans is that the Raiders are a better football team than the Houston Texans. Now, I know that their records are pretty similar, and the Houston Texans actually haven't been getting dominated in these football games. They make it close, and they compete and fight to the very end. So I don't think it's going to be as easy as a football game that everybody wants to make it out to be. They've got a really good running back. But look, they just hired their VP of personnel. They got some things internally going on in their organization. And I think that this is a week where you catch the Texans and maybe go in there at a home game and really put it on them. You know what I mean? And if you can come out there and win that game, 28-17, I think that's huge for the Raiders organization. There's a few things that I like, though. I think that you still have to be consistent and steady with Josh Jacobs. And when it comes to defensive side of the football, let's get aggressive in our run defense and force David Mills to pass the football, and be opportunistic when it comes to creating turnovers, because David Mills is going to give you an opportunity. I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to dive all into the matchups and everything, but that's just a little preview. I hope that you tune in tomorrow for another live show. Gabriel Montes says, thanks for the positivity. Raider Nation needs it. A lot of negativity with other creators. Hey, man, everybody expresses it their own way. I try to express it in a different way. You know what I mean? And I think Raider Nation has a home here for that. We're always going to look things objectively, and almost as if we're on those Monday meetings. And I look at it as if I have the whole football team in here. You know what I mean? And I'm talking to them collectively. So that is what it is. You know what I mean? I try to look at things of how can we get better, and not how can we not just completely poop on everything that's going on. Gabriel says, solid content, brother. I appreciate that, man. I really do. And shout out to everybody. Lafayette says, Supre, our schedule looks favorable. If we can win 8 out of the next 12, that's a 9-game playoffs. We can play with any team in the AFC, including Buffalo and Kansas City. We're right there when it comes to talent. We really are. It's just execution. It's coming down to the small details. So we'll see, man. And Look, we've got Hefe back in the background. Look, Raider Nation, I don't know if you guys want this, man. I really don't. And it's nothing against Hefe. If you guys want Hefe to come on here, let me know. But as of right now, man, I don't necessarily think it's a good idea because I know what it's going to turn the show into. And I don't think that we necessarily need that. So we'll see, man. I'm going to keep addressing the comments and we'll see what they say. Gabriel says cool, calm, and collective. And look, that's what we got to be. You got to be objective. It's no time to panic because once you panic and that bleeds into the locker room, that's where issues start to happen. And we don't need that. We're 1-4, but we're 5 weeks into the season, you guys. There's a lot of football to play. So we're not going to sit here and panic. We're going to hold them accountable. We're going to hold everybody accountable to a certain standard, and that's that we need to win football games. But look at the same time, we have to look at it as, okay, we took an L. We lost a very close football game. What small changes, what details of execution can we make moving forward and go out here and win some football games? Team is getting ready to go on a run, brother. I agree, Gabriel. I really do. I agree with that. I think we will win 9 to 10 games. We got to go on our streak. Facts, Lafayette. I really do too. I think this could be a 10-win football team when it's all said and done. I think this really can be a 10-win football team. And if you really get good and you really learn how to like beat some of these good teams, you're talking about a potential 11-win team. I mean, but that's the room for error now is so much smaller because you've dropped these 4 early in the season. So we'll see. We'll see, man. We'll see. Keep hitting that like button, Nation. Anthony Estrada, shout out to you, brother. 27 of you in the building. There should be 27 likes. I appreciate everybody for taking time to pull up tonight. 28 of you in the building. Go smash that like button. First night for Super Chats, man. Super excited for that. We've had people donate already, and I've been blown away by that. So much love to the Raider Nation. Again, everything is getting thrown back into this channel. Big dreams, big aspirations for what the show is going to be in the future. But look, we've come a long way in such a short amount of time, and it's because of everybody that's in this panel right now, everybody that's in this chat that has showed support to me. You guys are absolutely awesome, man. Raider 805, on paper, we're better than the next 5 teams. There's no reason why we shouldn't go on a run. Facts. Farrell NFL is in the building, my co-host, man. Shout out to you, brother. Much love. Looking forward to talking to you tomorrow. And we're going to put on a great show. Everybody that's not, go over to Farrell NFL and subscribe to Farrell. Great guy, great content. I love working with him, and we have big plans for our show as well moving forward. Everybody's saying, no, we don't want Hefe on, and it's no it's no shot to you, Hefe. Hefe, look, brother, I'm not scared at all. I am not scared at all, Hefe. That's the farthest thing from reality, brother. It's just, look, this is my show, and I know what it's going to turn into if you come on here. So, look, brother, I don't ever say that I'm scared. That's cap. Hey, without further ado, you guys, though, my brother, my original person, man, who gave me a shot at going live is backstage. This is my brother. This is a guy who believed in me from the very beginning. Without further ado, man, OG Chronicles of the Black Hole. OG, brother, what's going on?
Still believe in you. Go ahead and show our names so I can say that I honored my word.
Oh, geez, what? Chiefs Kingdom?
Just do it.
What does it say?
Just go ahead and click it to where it shows our names.
Where do you go to do that at?
Exactly.
I don't know. Oh, Chiefs Kingdom lost a bet. Okay. Yep. Let me see if I can pull this up. It's not letting me pull you up your name. Maybe I have to clear this comment. Let me clear this comment.
I did this with Jack Rackham. I'm doing this tonight.
Let me clear this comment. There we go. There it is, Hefe. I can't believe you said I'm scared. I can't believe you said
I did this with Captain Jack, and I had to go on and I did this. I'm not changing my channel name to that trash. No. I'm just putting it up in the when I come on live. So get over it, Hefe, pendejo. And I'm going to tell you right now, if I know you were biting your nails knowing you were going to have to be Chronicles bitch. And so the bet was worth it, especially at the end of the game. You're like, oh, shit, Derek got the car. Derek Carr's got the ball in 2 minutes.
I know. I know.
That's the thing, though. The magic at the end of the games when we were close ones and we got a couple minutes left, we get the ball. We're not doing what we did for the last 8 years with Derek Carr.
No, and I mean, a lot of it, man, I think it really comes down to overthinking and execution on the football field. I think if you're going into those 2-minute drives and you kind of second guess things and you don't necessarily know where people are going to be or time on task, that is a mental clock in the back of your head, especially if teams can generate pressures. So to me personally, I think those things are coming. I really do. I really see this offense is getting better.
They are. It's just got to click, and it's starting to click. Okay, just like it's starting to click for Russell Wilson.
What's the score of that game right now, by the way? I'm going to look.
13-13.
Wow, it's a close game.
Fourth quarter. Okay. It's things are going to start to click for some teams, and all of a sudden, the midseason they take off, and that's when you go, "Oh, there's your championship team." It's going to happen for us.
Yeah, I think
for the next 6 games.
Yeah, I think what Monday Night Football showed is that the Raiders are up there with the best teams in the National Football League. Now, on record, when you're looking at the bottom of the ticker, right? If you took away the 1-4 record and you took away the Chiefs record, and you're just looking at this objectively of 2 national football teams going out there, you would say the Raiders, that swing of talent is not that far different. I mean, these teams are a lot closer than that 1-4 record speaks. However, we can't erase that record, so it's something that we do have to overcome.
Bill Parcells said this: "You are what your record says you are," and that's okay. Beginning of the season, our record does say who we are.
Mm-hmm.
But when it starts clicking, and the next 6 games coming up, don't be surprised if we're 7-4 after that. Then we're going to play the Garglers again. If we beat them, stand by, because life's going to get hell for anybody who stands in our way.
Yeah, I think the big thing, man, is just let's just find a way to win football games. Let's find a way to actually play as a unit. And when you're in these close football games, like you alluded to earlier, find a way to close the gap in a close football game. Find a way to actually hit that field goal late Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, I believe in this. Okay, we got to take on Houston next. Let's just focus on that. I understand. But the next 6 teams we play don't deserve to be on the field with us. And we're going to show that. And then we're going to beat the Garglers at home, at our home. Then people will start going, "Oh, they're not playing around." And then we got the next few games after that, and 2 of them are trash teams that we should smoke, even if it is the day after Christmas in Pittsburgh. I'm telling you, this team wakes up and gets it all together and everything starts to click. Dynasty. I still believe.
That name, the Garglers, boy, you got me killing. You're killing me with that name. That's a good one. But no, I hear what you're saying, man. I really do. When you're at a 1-4 situation, I really do think, especially the type of hype that we've created this offseason, I think at 1-4, you do have to take it collectively at a 1-game type of situation. Because if we sit here and say that the Texans don't belong on the field with us, me personally, just like in my boxing days, if I were to go into a fight and I were to say this dude doesn't even belong to even be with me, it allows a space of comfortability for me that I can rely on my talent alone. And I think where the Raiders are right now, they've got enough individual talent, but that's not where we're struggling. We're struggling with a collective team talent. And I think you have to use the opportunity against the Texans to go out there and fulfill what it is you're looking for. And that's for 11 men on both sides of the football to play as one unit. And if you can go into a Texans football game and offensively play 11 people as one unit, offensively and defensively, that's ultimately where this Raiders organization needs to take the steps forward, because that's what's cost us these games early on. So I don't want to overlook the Texans, because the Texans have been competing in all their football games. And for quite a while, they were in that game with the Chargers. Now, I'm not saying the Chargers are just this superstar football team. I think that they're a little bit underwhelming as well. But the Texans have an opportunity to go out there and compete with the Raiders, and especially if the Raiders don't execute. So Is it
Well,
on paper?
from a boxing perspective, I say this guy doesn't belong in the ring with me. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit him in the mouth and then hit him in the chin, knock him out, and show everyone you don't belong with me. It's a different perspective, an old guy's perspective.
But do you feel like a situation where if the Raiders do overlook a team like the Texans, especially coming off a bye week, and look, let's objectively be
Beat the
honest, the
living
Raiders,
hell out of them
yeah, the Raiders
and
should
go home.
the Raiders should at home go out there and put up a pretty dominant game, in my opinion. That's where I stand at in this game. I
We
really
need
do.
to dominate, beat the hell out of these guys, and control them. If you see that, the following next couple weeks, few weeks, you're gonna see it again. And then the Chiefs come into our home, and we need to just feast on them.
And
Feast
hey,
on.
look, in my chat, if I've given you the credentials to be a moderator, hey, do what you got to do. I trust you guys. So if you feel like it gets to a point with certain individuals that you have to do something, then hey, that's on you guys making that final decision. I'm pretty lenient on the whole hey blocking what people say because I love giving people a voice and an opportunity, even if they don't agree with you. And all that's okay and healthy. But if it ever gets to a point to where it's almost like spamming at that point, to where it's just like almost stopping the course of conversation of the show, if I've given you those credentials to be a moderator, then I give you full control to make a move. So you don't have to ask me. I appreciate it when you do run it by me before we make that final call. But
Here's the way I see it. If you're in my chat and you got an opinion different than mine, or you're someone from another team, I'll take you on myself. I'll tell my moderators to back off because guess what? I got you. You don't want this smoke. Okay. Hefe went on the attack on Raphael. Now, you know, Raphael has a mild form of autism. And I went to his defense and I attacked Hefe. We had this bet. I know Hefe was biting his nails at the end of that game, knowing full well he could lose, and he would have had to change his name to a more vulgar name than the one mine is because we had a bet. And Chronicles bitch would have been his name for a week. All right, I got you. Let's see what happens next game if you even show your face.
yeah, no, and look, I've let Hefe have a lot of freedom, but to come on here on my channel and say that I'm scared to put you on the live show,
Ain't nobody
that
scared of you.
ain't
Ain't
nobody
nobody
scared,
scared of
bro.
your team.
Ain't nobody scared. I'm not scared of your team. I'm not scared of anything that you could say. I'm not scared of any type of statistical output you could put. Hefe, that is just whack. That's
Yeah, because if
so
we
whack.
went for just kick that extra point, would have went into overtime, you got stopped. And we would have had all day to rock on you.
Shout out to my co-host of the show for the preview show, Farrell NFL, man, for a $4.99 super sticker, man. I appreciate you so much. You don't
What's
have to
up,
do that.
Farrell?
Yeah, you don't have
Yeah,
to do
you know
that, bro.
what? Everybody's telling me, oh yeah, Farrell actually sent me a message on IG saying thanks for hooking me and Ray up. And I'm like, nah, man, that wasn't my idea. That was Jack Kennis. And Jack's brilliant. And your show is succeeding. You guys put out great content. And I've always believed in you. And I still do. Like you're killing it. And now you're monetized. Baby, I told you this was gonna happen.
You did. No, like I think people don't understand that like OG's seen like he's seen it before I ever even seen it. You know what I mean? I was doing this because I liked it and I never thought it would turn into something like this. And he kind of seen what I didn't see in myself at the time.
I
And
was your 141st subscriber.
yeah, and he messaged me and was like, "Hey, I want to get you on my show." And I never been live before, so I was like, So, I mean, I could honestly say, like, if it wasn't for OG showing the support early on and building my confidence up of just really not building my confidence up because I always believed that I belong in this game, but it's more of like the love and the just the even when things weren't necessarily going as fast as what I wanted to, he consistently was positive about the direction of where I was going, and he just kept encouraging me to keep going. So I always reciprocate the love, and I love The fact that he brought me and Farrell and Jack Kenna, like you just said, brought us up to join. And
Yeah, I don't take credit for what I don't do. Jack Kenna's idea, and I just, hey, what do you think of this? Look, all I did was make an introduction. Okay, you were not seen enough, and I was like, you know what? I got more subscribers than this kid. Let me get him out here and let's see what he says. Jack Kenna, I told Jack Kenna on that live. It was me, you, and Jack. I said, Jack, ask him some questions, anything random, see what he says. And you showed you got the moxie, and you showed that you had the knowledge to be where you're at. And I told you, you're going to take off, and you have, and you're going to continue to. This is my hobby. I have fun with this. Okay. All right. I love doing it because, like you, I'm in a place where there's not a lot of Raiders fans. So I have to do this to talk to Raiders fans. But your content quality is so high. That is why I was like, always believed in you. Like, you came across the best stuff, good quality content. And you still do today. You're not promoting yourself. You're just like, hey, here's what it is, and you present it in a humble opinion. You discuss it. Me, I'm a history teacher. Who the fuck? Oh, excuse me. Who the hell likes history?
no, I think there's a room, because I think that there's also, even on my channel, like there's a lot of guys in that 20 to early 40s range where we could take a lot of wisdom from people who understand the history of the Raiders. That's why I think it's good to have an avenue like having you on, and letting people point to the past a little bit, because even me, like, I grew up in that early 2000s era. Like, I remember watching Chucky on the sideline with my dad. Those were my early Raider memories. But his memories are kind of like your memories, right? It goes farther back, and they had a history and an identity with the Raiders in times past and what that looked like. And sometimes we can forget that because we never experienced it. So to have somebody's opinion to talk about and reflect and to compare of what they see now. Now, we know it's two different leagues than what it used to be, right?
Yeah, two different games now.
Right, exactly. So it's fun to do that. So but everybody that's in the building, man, if you're not, go subscribe to OG Chronicles of the Black Hole. I mean, I would really recommend it, especially if you're into the history. He does a show with Captain Jack Rackham, and they discuss the history, and they get former players on and have really good discussions and dialogue. So if that's something that you guys are into, I would highly recommend that you guys go over there and tune into that show.
Right. Yeah. We do interviews with old school Raiders, and we dive deep. I know everybody talks about Stuart Schweigert. He's got his own channel. I've been on his show. He's been on mine. But when he came on with me and Captain Jack, we did a real deep dive into Stuart, like got into some real stuff. We also interviewed Phil Villapiano. We also interviewed, we interviewed a lot of guys. We interviewed Al Davis's right-hand man, who wrote a book after 33 years as the Raiders' leading scout. We interviewed Jerry Robinson. We interviewed a lot of old school Raiders. We covered them. The reason being is, like Willie Brown said, or no, Willie Brown. To know the Raiders, you have to know our history. And that was one of the things he taught all the young guys coming to the team. He wasn't just making the announcement for Mother's Day in the drafts. He was hanging around the team the whole time, teaching them the history and the lore of our team.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like that. Anthony Estrada says, any of the mods, do you know how to post OG Daniel? I would post that in the chat. Yeah, you guys drop his link down in the chat so people can find his channel and go over and subscribe to him. It would be amazing to really help OG, and let's get his channel to the point to where it could be monetized. You know what I mean? That would be so cool to see OG Daniel to get monetized.
I don't care about monetization.
I know. I don't. Hey, yeah,
I love to do this, and I've got over 530 subscribers. Okay. I love talking to them because they're the best of the best.
Oh yeah, I know. I love it. I
They're the
love
most loyal, wonderful Raiders fans, and I love just talking to them or teaching them about the past. I got some that are in the past, some older than me, that are like reliving it, and they love it.
And I think people need that. They need people that aren't out here just always chasing numbers. You know, they need people who do it, who love to do it. So I like this Auntie Six, the Auntie Six show. I think that's going to be the show now. I think that's going to be the preview show. I mean, what better way to go into a preview week with the Auntie Six show? I love it. Dirty Low, Dirty, if you're all set up, man, and you're mic'd up and you want to come on and talk, hey, OG, see if you can, if I'm on YouTube, try to turn it. I hear an echo.
Sorry, bro. I had to unplug for a second. Hold on, let me get back in.
You're okay. Dirty Low, if you're mic'd up, man, and if you wanted to come on and just talk football, man, you're more than welcome to come on. I probably won't be on too much longer. We've gone an hour and 25 minutes, and I kind of wanted to keep it pretty simplified. But hey, if you're mic'd up and you're good to go, let me know, and I can drop it down in the comment section.
D-Menace 4200, thank you.
Yeah, you got to subscribe. Oh, cool. Yeah. D-Menace says he subscribed to your channel. Shout out to you, D-Menace. D-Menace, man, he was dropping super chats tonight. He's been showing a ridiculous amount of love lately. Like, he's pulling up to all the live shows, interacting with everybody. I absolutely love it. D-Menace, if you think that you'll be a faithful watcher, man, I would love to make you a moderator and have you help maybe even post links. And I think you've just been pulling up so much lately and showing so much love, man. I want to give you that opportunity, man. Robert Pena, Dirty Low, shout out to Dirty. Snoop, shout out to you. Van City's in the building. He says, what's good, Ray? I got in here super late. Hey, it's okay, man. You can check the replay. We had a pretty good show. We're just kind of chopping it up with the nation. Tomorrow's really where we talk about X's and O's.
And hey, guys, all these people getting excited about OBJ and the one-handed catch years ago. Okay. Let me explain something to you. If you want to see some killer one-handed catch material, go back and look at Raiders tight end Todd Christensen. Crazy wild catches, including one-handed catches. Like, that's where I first got wet. Whoa! When I was like a kid. Okay?
I love that.
I'm telling you. Go back and look at Todd Christensen highlights and see them one-handed catches. And this is from way back when, bro.
You know, James Furbo's in here. He says, what's up, Ray? Raiders. Salute OG. He drops the Raiders as well. Let's see.
Hey, James Furbo. I can't. My wife's sleeping in the next room.
Van City says, big bro, OG, you're one of my favorite content creators. It just feels different hearing a guy who's been a fan for twice my lifetime talk Raiders ball. See, man? I mean, there's an avenue for that. And that's what I really love and respect about it. And I think that's where that good balance comes of new school, old school, merging those things together and having a good dialogue about it.
Hey, Farrell says D-Menace is a real one. Make him a mod. Bye-bye.
Okay, yeah. All right, D-Menace. Yeah, shout out to you. You've been just...
You got Farrell sticking his neck out for you. You must be a real one.
Yeah. No, bro. I'm going to make you a moderator for sure, man. So shout out to you, Farrell. And look, we're excited. We're excited for next show, man. I'm going to drop the link one more time. So if anybody does decide that they want to pull up, we probably will.
I've been a fan since I was 9. I started watching them when I was 8. Became a fan when I was 9. That was in 1974. I'm 57 years old.
History, boy. But yeah, you guys, I dropped it in the StreamYard. If there's anybody, we won't be on too long. But if anybody wanted to pull up Dirty, even if Farrell's mic'd up, ready to go, it doesn't matter, man. Even if it's just me and OG, I'm completely cool with that to write it out for the end of the show, man. This is natural chemistry for me.
Oh, hey, bro. By the way, 1981 or 1980, excuse me. 1980, we started off the season 2 and 3. We won the Super Bowl. Just saying. Just saying. It's starting to feel like the old days again. I'm telling you.
Van City says we need to win one more for OG Daniel.
We need to win 6 more at least that are easy games, and then beat San Diego and go on a 7-game winning streak. That's cute. But then we got 2 crappy teams and a good team, and then another good team. What we need to do is go on a 13-game winning streak, and I'll be happy.
Right. I would be happy
If
too.
we go on a 13-game winning streak, we're 13-4. If we go on a 12-game winning streak, we're still 12-5, which is where I picked us. See, there were certain teams that I thought we would definitely beat that we didn't beat. And there are teams that I thought we were going to get killed with. And then now I'm looking at them going, nah, we're going to smoke these guys. Rams, Steelers.
I will quit my job if the Raiders
Colts.
go on a 13-win streak. No, I'm just kidding. I ain't quitting my job. I ain't doing all that. If the Raiders were to go on a 13-game win streak, man, I got to do something wild.
If the Raiders go on a 13-game win streak, we don't have to worry about anybody but Buffalo.
Right. And if we punch it, as long as we punch a ticket, I don't care. Right. And then I'll worry about whoever's in the playoffs. But as long as we can punch that ticket, man, I'm fired up about it. Farrell says, I'm going to slide through. Hold on. So we're going to extend the show a little bit and allow Farrell to come on and talk with OG. And so if we can keep this thing under, let's say, 2 hours, or maybe we might go a little bit past that.
Come on, let's do a 6-hour show like Stu.
All right. Yeah, I did see that. I seen it popped up in my feed, and I was like, man, Stu went 6 hours? I don't know if I got that kind of time.
Yeah, or energy.
But yeah,
he's
man,
got a lot of energy. For a guy his age, he's got a lot more energy than a lot of young guys I know. He's like Mick Jagger, bro.
I'm gonna get on that testosterone replacement therapy. I'm 27. I'm 27. I'm about to inject a bunch of it. No,
careful of that stuff.
No, I was just joking.
That can cause prostate cancer.
Oh, really?
And then you're canceled if you get it.
TRT,
I mean,
man.
Look, that stuff can be dangerous. See side effects, bro.
Oh, I know. It's probably a laundry list of stuff.
Just
this Saturday, Dirty Raider is doing a 24-hour show. Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Hey, shout out to Dirty Raider, boy.
He's retired. He can do this.
Oh, okay. Well, put in that work then, boy. 24 hours? Do it then. No, I want to ask the chat too as well. There's 25 of you, and let me know because I have my business and I put my family first and my faith first, and then this stuff comes along, and I love spending my time with Raider Nation. Do you guys miss the short video content that I do, or do you prefer the live shows where you guys can chime in and interact?
I love live shows. I'm going to tell you right now, I love live shows because it's the only chance I get to actually talk with Raiders fans. Where I live, I don't have a lot of Raiders fans around there. Daniel Kemp. I discovered the YouTube Raiders world on accident one day a couple of years ago, and I've been hooked ever since. Ray and Farrell put out one of the best duos in absolutely the content world.
I appreciate that, bro. I really do. For me personally, now that I feel like I put in a ton of work when it came to creating those short videos, kind of like what you were alluding to earlier about like how I would do those 3-minute videos and just try to pack in a ton of information and be really clear and articulate it very well. And I did that for a long time, just day after day. It was a grind, and it took a lot of sacrifice away from my daughter and my wife. And to be honest, it takes a toll on it. You know what I mean? If you don't manage those things correctly, it can take a toll on those relationships. And I never wanted it to turn into a thing that it was about me. I wanted to be a show collectively about the people. And so these live shows for me personally have been way more beneficial because I love to hop on here and just chop it up with Raider Nation and just open up the panel and talk to everybody. So moving forward, if you guys are comfortable with that, look, I would like to move in the direction of giving you guys great live show content. And we're, like I said, I've got big visions down the road for what this is going to turn into. So, and I really want to move into that live show direction. So if you guys are cool with that, then that's that direction that I kind of want to go. I was going to go in that direction anyways, but I just wanted to let you guys get a little bit of a window of like, hey, this is where I feel personally that I kind of want to move forward to.
If you're going to do a recorded show, that's great. But the lives, I mean, here's the thing. I can do recorded shows. I don't do them anymore because it's like, okay, I don't get to talk to nobody. Like, I don't get to interact.
Right.
Now, if you do one tape show and the rest of them are live for the rest of the week, that'd probably be a good balance. I'm sure it'd help the algorithm, blah, blah, blah. But me, I'm just going to do lives because I want to hear feedback from other Raider, fans. That's just my preference. It doesn't mean,
Yeah, everybody's saying, they prefer the live shows.
I mean, you put out great content in both, so.
Yeah, and that's not to say that I'm not ever going to go back to just dropping out shorts. You know what I mean? Just short content.
Right.
I'm not completely steering away from that idea, but I just have so many ideas for the live shows and what that could actually turn into. That I kind of want to stick with that. D Menace says, I discovered the YouTube Raider world this past off season, and I wish I knew about this years ago. Facts. It does help, especially in the off season, right? D Menace. So without further ado, here's my co-host as well as the preview show, Farrell NFL. Farrell, what's good, bro?
Up, bro?
What's going on? How you fellas doing tonight?
Brother.
Just chopping it up. I just decided to spend some time with the nation tonight and just it wasn't really an X's and O's night. It was just chill out with the nation.
I should have been in bed like a half hour ago. I don't know why I'm awake, but I haven't interacted enough.
No, and we haven't got to talk either. So I'm glad that you decided to hop on. So,
yeah, man, it's a Monday night football game. I was like decided and I want to ask this to the chat. Salute to the chat as well, and I want to ask you guys this: would you guys rather have? Because I kind of like did the numbers in my head, as far as like, okay, would you rather have Denver win the game? I don't know who's winning the game currently, or would you rather the game end in a tie?
Oh, I want Denver to win.
Ooh, that'd be cool. But if Denver wins the game, that keeps it tighter.
Yeah, because I'm not afraid of Denver because just
no, I want them to win
so far. So I feel like if Denver like wins the game, it's a bigger blow to the Chargers, especially down the road. Keeps us in that division. I'm glad Bills were able to take care of business yesterday on Sunday, but I was just thinking about that. I was like, you know what? Hey, I think Denver would be this would be a good day to. I don't want to root for Denver, but this is actually a good game to root for Denver. To be honest,
Broncos country, let's ride.
Yeah, that's the only time you better ever say that. That's the only time you ever do.
See, D Menace says I would like a tie. D Menace says he would like a tie because a tie is not even. It's not a good thing or a bad thing, but it's just
honestly, I want to see Denver win. I just want to. Like you said, dude. I don't fear Denver by any means at all. I feel like we just have their number, and I just want to see this AFC. I think it just balances out our division that much more.
Man, I was thinking about this throughout the day. I wish I would have posted, and then I could, I point at it and be like, "Look, I'm a genius." But
we know you're a genius.
It didn't work out like that. It just kind of looks like, oh, okay, it's a tie right now. So he says 38 seconds left in the fourth, 16-16.
Hey, that's kind of ugly though, bro, for the Chargers. Think about it.
Yeah,
I mean, I haven't been watching the game, so I don't know if Denver's actually playing their.
Well, actually, in the first half, Russell Wilson was 10 for 10 on completion. Okay, he's starting to cook. Just saying.
Okay. Like I said, I can't say anything because I haven't been watching the game, so I don't know like how they're looking right now. But to me, I feel like the Chargers should be putting it on the Denver Broncos.
If Russ didn't play for the Broncos, I would actually be rooting for him because everybody's kind of attacking him like he's the worst quarterback. But the dude, he's a good quarterback. I think the situation that he's in is like, okay, he's going into a similar situation as Derek Carr, brand new system, brand new teammates, brand new city, brand new division.
A lot of thinking and not playing.
And the head coach doesn't seem like he should be a head coach. I'll be honest. Like he doesn't. The fact that you got to hire a guy, you said that. Say that again.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that, right? It's just that when it comes to coaching, I feel like they're at the bottom of the division.
No,
Unproven coach.
Russell Wilson isn't used to the system yet, and Hackett ain't hacking it. But realistically, the Chargers coach is still stupid, going on fourth downs every damn time. So I would say that he's the third worst coach in our division. The Chargers coach is a moron. This guy,
I don't think so.
4th and 10, let's go for it. You know, he's still pulling that crap. He hasn't learned anything.
But OG though, he had to hire the Denver Broncos coach, and Hackett had to hire a game management advisor third game into the season, like third or fourth game. One of them.
Yeah,
that doesn't look too good.
Look.
It's not a good look.
Abakazi, if you want to jump on, brother, you're more than welcome. I'll drop the link.
Okay, so there's 2 dumb coaches in this division and 2 smart coaches.
Yeah. Well, shit, man, I'm still waiting. I'm not saying McDaniels is a dumb coach or anything like that. I kind of been disappointed the first few games, but last game I actually like what I seen from the coaching staff, and me and Ray talked about it in the last show. We were like, hey man, at the end of the day, like he had that aggressive mentality that you needed to win and beat,
which everybody's been asking for, and then when he uses it, they criticize. Come on.
Because we're 1-4. That's just this is the name of the game. When you're 1-4, you can criticize everything. Let's be honest.
The Raiders are a few plays away from everybody praising Josh McDaniels' aggressiveness. I mean, it comes down to execution.
5 weeks of the season, we have lost by a combined total of 14 points.
Right.
Okay. Let it go. When it clicks, you're going to see absolute domination. Let it go. Let it click. It should click this week. It should click over the next 6 weeks for sure. The coach of the Chargers and Hackett, Nathaniel Hackett, they are Hackett's starting to click. Okay. The Donkeys are not playing as bad as everybody thought. I thought this was going to be a Chargers blowout, and not happening.
Salute, Bugsy.
It's been close the whole damn game. Things start clicking. Russell's going to get better and stop thinking, because right now Derek Carr's thinking because he's not sure. He's overthinking it.
It's a complicated offense.
Right. And the first game showed it. I mean, we threw 3 interceptions, were absolutely atrocious, and lost by 5 points.
He didn't. You could just tell that first game. You could just tell Carr looked really uncomfortable. He looked stiff. He didn't know where he was at in the pocket.
Right.
You know, he would just look really awkward.
But things are changing.
But the game. Each game has gone by, and Carr's look better and better. The offense is better and better.
And
probably can say
we're going to dominate over the next 6 weeks. Watch.
I hope so, and I hope. I would say last game was probably our best game offensively, as far as like we were able to get into the game and do exactly what we wanted to do, as far as like running the ball. We dominated running the ball, and then obviously we took some shots down the field. I think that might be the recipe moving forward. That might be the recipe until proven otherwise. Because right now the Raiders haven't proven otherwise, where they can spread out the football, have 5 wide through. I just don't think that's their strength right now, especially because Derek Carr's still trying to figure things out. Devontae Adams and Renfrow are running into each other. I think their strength should be run that football and then play action. Boom, you got Adams, you got Hollins, you got Renfrow, you got all these options. But you have to start with the run game.
Another thing is everybody was worried about our defense this year, and our defense playing better than our offense. As far as defense against the run, we're number 8. Against defense against the pass, we're number 8. Or for some reason, we're the number 15th ranked defense.
Mm-hmm. It's because we're 28th in the red zone in points allowed.
Right.
That's where our statistics drop. And I talked about it at the beginning of the show to allude, kind of like what Farrell was saying was.
But again, things click.
You use these next 6 games to continue to establish that identity that you've created. I feel like the last few weeks you've really found an identity in the run game. Andre James is the 4th ranked center, and what is it? He's got He's got a 77% win rate at the center position when it comes to run blocking. Dylan Parham is the #1 guard in the league right now when it comes to 83% win rate in the run game. Continue to create that identity, get creative in the run game, continue to establish a dominant running game, and then let everything stem off of that. Derek Carr is one of the better play action quarterbacks in the game. I'd like to see a lot more play action involved and target these immediate route concepts. Take your shots deep when you get your one-on-one coverages. And another aspect is I'd like to see the Raiders find a field stretcher. I know we've got Tyron Johnson on the practice squad, but overall, the speed of this offense, you've got a lot of good route runners, and you've got some possession receivers. I'd like to see the ability to have a threat to really take things over the top. I know they went out and got Albert Wilson. We'll see what that turns into, but and it might not even be this season, guys, but I think that the Raiders need something on the offensive side of the ball. If you look at the Chiefs, they do a really good job of attacking defenses north and south. And by what I mean by south is behind the line of scrimmage, screen passes, but they also do a really good job of east to west. They make you defend every single blade of grass on the football field. And I think that the Raiders offense is somewhat built in a similar mold if they could really get somebody to vertically separate on this offense.
No, facts 100%. And Daniel too. I'm gonna make you a mod on my show when I go live because I see you always consistent as well. So don't worry, I got you.
No, I want you to be a mod too, Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel.
I was actually just gonna say that.
Yeah, they're pretty consistent, man. What it takes to be a mod is someone's really consistent, someone we can trust, because things do happen in the chat every now and then. And Daniel, you're definitely one of those guys. So
you gotta get rid of them porn bots. So
Daniel Kim, you're going to be a moderator.
At the beginning of the season, I said, the first 4 games, we're going to work on gelling. And in the 5th game, we're going to show who we are. Who are we? We lost by 1 point on some bad ref calls to the second best offense or best team in the AFC. Okay. We lost by 1 point. If Devontae Adams had worked his toe drag the right way, game would be over. Okay, we would have won. If we had not gotten some bullshit penalties to make up penalties for that, and I don't even understand why they call it a makeup penalty, because man threw his full weight on Derek Carr, roughing the passer. Well, throwing your full weight on him's it. But then they threw 3 bad calls on us. Come on. Holding. Malcolm Kuntz was called for holding on a kick. Get them.
Yeah, it was a bad call, bro. It was
all right. Okay. Listen, we played one of the best teams in the NFL. Okay, let's be real. The Eagles are flying high. That's nice in the NFC. The rest of the NFC ain't crap compared to Buffalo, Kansas City, and I'm sorry. We lost by 1 point on a badly officiated game in the 4th quarter of this game. We are so much better than this. What they're saying, what our record is. We are going to show who we are from here on out. And we start dominating teams for 6 straight weeks. And then we go to take on San Diego at home. And if we smoke them, people will realize we're no joke. But it's going to take the next 6 weeks.
Waiting for connection.
Luis Lopez says Albert Wilson or DJ Turner, and I think that's a good question. And I'll move it to Avakazi and Farrell, then OG. For me personally, I really want to see DJ Turner. I thought he flashed. I think right now the Raiders could really use him when it comes to punt return. Special teams aspect, I think DJ Turner could actually be a big asset for the Raiders moving forward, especially in these next 6 games. So getting him back, I think, is actually pretty big. I think he does have speed. He's got that wiggle, that burst. He reminds me of a lot of like Pacheco for the Kansas City Chiefs. He might be a little bit smaller, but with his frame, I believe he's like 5'10", but he's over 200 pounds. So he's almost built like a running back at the wide receiver position, really good at creating missed tackles. So Avakazi, for you, how do you feel? First and foremost, welcome to the show, brother. I'm glad to get to talk to you. Albert Wilson, DJ Turner, how do you feel about that?
First things first, thanks for inviting me to your show. OG Daniel, good to see you, and you too, Farrell. Salute to everyone in the chat. As you know, I liked what I was pretty loud in my support of DJ Turner in the preseason. I was even supportive of him last year's preseason. I liked what I saw, and my comparison was he gave me flashbacks of Jacoby Ford, just the way he was built and the way he ran with the ball and just turning the corner after he caught these catches in the slot and then taking it to the house in preseason. So, I mean, if I'm asking what I feel about either, I got to be honest, I don't recall seeing too much of Albert Wilson unless I saw him unknowingly when the Raiders were playing him. Like, I don't watch too much football outside of Raider football. So for me personally, I would rather go with the young guy and see what they have. But in regards to Turner, is he even back from? Is he not injured anymore? Like, wasn't he on injured reserve? Like, not injured reserve, but he was injured.
Yeah, he had a high ankle issue. He's actually getting brought back to practice. He should be back at practice this week, actually. So that's not even a guarantee to say that he's ready to go this week against the Texans. Right. They're probably going to ease him back into that role. But Farrell, what about you? Albert Wilson, DJ Turner?
I'm not sure about Albert Wilson because if we're talking about, and we talked about this in the last show, we talked about how, like, all right, does it really make sense to get rid of, at the time, Tyron Johnson for Albert Wilson? Because they were pretty much the same day. The Raiders cut Tyron Johnson. Obviously, they end up bringing him back after the fact. But on that very moment, that day, we picked up Albert Wilson and then dropped Tyron Johnson, a guy that has been practicing in this offense the whole offseason, including training camp, including preseason. So when we're talking about like DJ Turner, he's already played in this offense. I know he's a rookie. I do want to see what he has to offer. A guy like Albert Wilson, we don't know what he can give to this team, even though, like, all right, they can probably simplify the role for him. But at the same time, we just seen the best receiver in the game run into Hunter Renfrow. Do I want to see the same thing happen with a guy like Albert Wilson in the game? Not at all. I'm not trying to see that. So I'd rather have a guy that knows the offense. If he's ready to go, I want to see what he can do. I actually want to see Tyron Johnson. Hey, you know what I mean? I think he can actually be he can have a better impact with the way the Raiders are running their offense, meaning what I alluded to earlier, run the ball, set up that play action, boom. You got that Tyron Johnson could get open deep. We know he got that 4.3 speed. Obviously, he's on the practice squad. Obviously, we're talking about DJ Turner, whoever. I just feel like it just makes more sense at this point in the season. We need to roll with our guys that already know the offense. We've seen what Deshaun Jackson did last year. He didn't really do anything because it's hard for a player to come in the middle of the season and have an impact. You know what I mean? It's not like basketball or anything like that. Or you got to be able to, like, football is a game about repetitions and learning the game. You know how thick that playbook is. You know what I mean? It's hard for a player to have that impact. So Albert Wilson, it's nice, but if for him to play and have an impact on his team, it'll be really surprising. And if he does, I'm glad. I'll be happy. But I'd rather see DJ Turner and see what he has.
I'm disappointed we haven't gotten Tyron Johnson involved already. It's very disappointing. And seeing him back on the practice squad. Like, is he back on the practice squad?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we re-signed him. There's something about DJ Turner, though, that I want to kind of talk about because I do think that Josh McDaniels is a creative offensive mind. And just with the build of a DJ Turner, this is the type of guy like how the Chiefs use Pacheco. I wouldn't be surprised to see him lined up in running back situations and flex him out wide and get him the ball behind the line of scrimmage when it comes to check downs, screen plays. He's really a gadget guy. He has really good vision, especially when it comes to punt returns. So he has that natural ability to find lanes. Don't be surprised. And like I said, he's over 200 pounds. So this guy's lower body, he is built for the trenches. So I wouldn't mind seeing that movie because if I'm being quite honest, I'm not the biggest fan of Brandon Bolden. I don't know about you guys. Maybe you guys like Brandon Bolden. He's all right, right? He's a reliable pass catcher. He's not done anything to really blow me away.
Underwhelming is the word.
Yeah.
All right, so we have DJ Turner and Tyron Johnson available, correct?
Right.
Okay. If DJ Turner is available, I'd like to kind of see what he can do. But the biggest question I have that Raider Nation needs to know is, Afakazi, are you driving on the wrong damn side of the road?
We drive on the left side, which is the right side of the road. You guys are driving opposite.
We
And just to
invented
answer
the
the question,
car.
Kim,
You're on
in
the
Australia,
wrong
so
side.
left side.
Down under.
No, right side is the.
And our toilet flushes the other way around too.
We invented the car, so right side of the road. But okay, I get it. I'll give you that. Toilet flush, it goes the opposite direction in the southern hemisphere. So yeah.
And just to answer the chat, I am from Australia.
Yeah, give me some good Australian dishes. I'm a big food guy. I like to eat. What are some good Australian dishes?
Shrimp on the Barbie.
Okay.
Well, that's probably the most underwhelming thing about Australia is that like we don't really have traditional dishes here. Not like
really.
If you go to say, you got Asian food, you got European food, and that like Australia is just steak, fish and chips, like barbecue food. Like it's not really like
but you got
a
like
unique
shrimp on
kind
the
of flavor
Barbie,
like you do elsewhere in the world. So
you got shrimp on the Barbie, and you got sustainable meat, kangaroo meat. I follow several other Aussies who do.
I was going to say that, but I didn't want to sound ignorant by saying kangaroo. But
yeah, but we do sell kangaroo meat, but like it's not something that like a lot of us eat. If I'm going to be honest.
Lamb.
But is this true though? I heard this that do kangaroos outnumber people in Australia?
Yes.
No.
No, you said that.
Let me just clarify some things real quickly, all right? There are kangaroos around, but it's not like they're hopping all over the place. No, absolutely not. There is quite a few of them around, but they're more out in the wild rather than.
I swear,
we don't live in outhouses. We don't live in shanty towns. There's always this stigma that that's what Australia's about. No, as you can see,
but most of your cities are on the coast. Most of your cities are on the coast. Inland.
What happens if you see a kangaroo just punching a cart?
No, you don't see that kind of crap here.
In Australia, most of the cities are on the coast. The inland areas are wild, natural, free, beautiful places.
Okay, just real quick, because I don't want to take away from it right away. This is your show. We're talking about.
No, you're good, bro.
When I used to work away in the desert, we did have quite a bit of wildlife around. Like we used to have dingoes and we wouldn't see kangaroos, but we'd see camels and a lot of other wildlife. But when you're inland, not inland, when you're on the coast like me in the cities and that, you don't really see the wildlife other than what you see in the States, like birds and stuff like that, insects. It's pretty normal. It's not too far from what it's like in America when I was there. You know what I mean? So
are you Avakazi, like I don't want to take too much, but are you near the coast or more inland?
I'm on the coast.
You're on the coast?
West Coast.
That's
yeah,
cool.
West Coast.
So you guys get a lot of fresh seafood. You got great whites there?
Sharks?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so where I live right near the beach. I was actually thinking of doing a video and posting it on my YouTube just to give a bit of a tour around since like it's bye week and what else is there to do, you know what I mean, other than talk about like the news and the happenings. But yes, I do live next to the beach, and there is we do get shark sirens here and there. There have been a few shark attacks now and then, so they are around. So yeah, there is that danger.
Do you train at all still?
I've been starting to get back into the gym. I do still use the bag as cardio from here and there, just to keep me sharp. You know what I mean? But,
yeah.
Not as I'm not full time anymore like I once was.
No, yeah. I didn't know. Did they have like a Thai gym down there?
Yes, Muay Thai is quite popular here. There is quite a few
Muay I know
Thai
in
gyms.
Thailand, there's a lot of Australians that would go to Thailand.
Yes. Well, Thailand isn't too far from Australia, and I've gone over there and I've done the camps.
Did you go to Tiger?
I didn't get it. Where I trained was close to Tiger.
Okay.
Tiger's now, from what I understand, rebranded itself like it is commercial, but it's also focusing on the MMA side of things, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Okay.
Where I trained was more specifically Muay Thai, and I've trained at I trained at a place called Simbi, and I also did a few rounds when I was in Copenhagen at some of the gyms there. But one particular gym, when I went there, the Thai trainers, I all I could smell was he reeked of vodka, and I
Exactly.
couldn't wait
No,
to
yeah.
leave.
We'll have to do a live show where we can allocate
Yeah, sure.
more
I don't
time.
want to take up too much.
No. You're good. You're good.
Translation: don't mess with Avikazi. Don't mess with him.
No, I'm not that type of guy.
No, you know what? I saw some people hiking through New Zealand, and they were doing this thing, and they're like, "Look, there's no poisonous snakes." This. And then they went to a meme. Meanwhile, in Australia, where everything tries to kill you,
It's not that bad.
No.
all
right.
No, but it was funny.
Time to redirect this train back on the tracks. I had to ask a few things, and I just been wanting to talk to Avikazi about it, but we'll also address it even further down the road. We'll get to it. Luis Lopez, and this is the first person I can respond to it first, and then we'll open it up and get your guys' opinion. At this point, do we try to make a run at a CB like William Jackson? I really wanted Bradbury, and look at what he's doing with the Eagles. Now, James Bradbury, go ahead, Farrell.
No, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, with the injuries that today we just found out that Hobbs is going to be out for the next 4 games at least. He had that surgery, which is tough because Hobbs is one of the few playmakers that we had on defense.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, so that's going to be tough. And the fact that the reason why he wants to get traded is because he feels that he's a better fit in a more man heavy system. And guess what? Patrick Graham likes to run a lot of man, so it might be a good fit. We'll see if it happens. You know what I mean? Like that. I don't know. I don't know if I've heard anything too substantial as far as like the Raiders really being connected to them, other than like PFF saying that, he's requested a trade and he wants to go to a man heavy defense. So people are kind of connecting the dots, like, oh, okay, Raiders have injuries at corner.
My question is, though, do you want to pay a 29-year-old $15 million next year?
That's my issue. I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Hey, brothers, I got to dip out. I am an hour past my bedtime, and I got to get up early tomorrow.
Hey.
Love talking to you guys again.
Yeah.
You're my brothers. Miss you. And everybody in the chat, thank you for being here and giving your time to us tonight.
Appreciate you, OG.
Appreciate you, OG. Much love, bro. But yeah, dude, do you want to give $15 million to a 29-year-old DB? That's where I'm at.
I don't know about that, man.
Because look, I mean, Rock is coming off, dude. I mean, if Rock Ya-Sin continues to put together a season like he is right now, I mean, he's got to be and he's proved it for your organization. I mean, he's been doing it this entire offseason. So if somebody's going to come in here and make money in the defensive back room, I mean, obviously, I don't think you're going to re-sign Anthony Averett after this year. You probably are going to throw money at Rock Ya-Sin if you believe you want him in this system moving forward. And then eventually here coming up soon, you're going to have to pay Nate Hobbs. So are you going to allocate $15 million to a 30-year-old?
Yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense because like at the end of the day, that's a guy that they're going to bring outside. You got to really believe in that guy. You know what I mean? And for them to really believe in the guy, it has to be a guy that actually coached, to be honest with you. Like, let's keep it real. It's not like we don't have anything here. You made some good points too as well. Like the fact that like we have all these guys on 1-year deals. You got Nate Hobbs. Eventually you're going to want to pay him. So they got to play chess when it comes to like how they're going to allocate that money. And I think that, I mean, in short term, it might make sense. Long term, I don't know, man. I think you gotta I think it's a better message to that locker room and to that culture if you sign guys that play well and you extend them. You know what I mean? Guys like you said, Averett's coming back possibly this week. You know, I know he's eligible to come back this week, but you know how that works. Usually they need a couple weeks even after they're eligible to get in shape, to get really back into how they were playing before.
And I think you can still make a trade for a DB, and it doesn't have to be at the expense of $15 million. You know, you can go get a guy from some of these teams. Like, okay, the Texans just fired their VP personnel. You can go and look at a team like, gosh, why am I drawing a blank? Who's the team right now that's opening up trade options? The Panthers. That's who I was thinking of. The Panthers got a slew of talent there that you could go out and dabble in. So, what I would really like, and maybe we can get into it. Yeah,
or not Justin Horn. JC Horn, cornerback.
Yeah, he's there,
but they're not going to do it. Or that
but,
DN.
Yeah, Brian Burns. That's what I want.
That
I would love that. I know it's not going to happen, but
he's a monster. He's one of the best DNs that came out of that draft. That was that draft with Nick Bosa, him, and obviously Max Crosby too. You know what I mean? But I know Lewis points to, he said JC Horn, but they're not going to do it. They're going to want an arm, a leg, everything. They're gonna want everything for JC Horn. I think he's one of a good young corner, but I'm not sure what they're going to want.
Do you give up a second?
He's on a rookie deal, and if they feel like, because think about this, hold on, is he a rookie this year? JC Horn, was he? Is this second year in the?
Yeah, I think this is year 2.
Year 2. So that means that we have a coach on our coaching staff. He coaches the secondary for the Raiders that coached up JC Horn. So if that's the case, then we have some intel. Like, okay, here's the guy. I would give up a second, yeah, because if he's if we can say like, okay, this guy is a good player, like a really good player, and you have him on a rookie deal, why not? And he's just, you know how hard it is to find starting corners.
And I think he would fit, especially if they're going. Yeah, the Chargers just won on a field goal.
Damn, man.
I know it sucks. Whatever. Hey, we just gotta win. You know what I mean? That's what it comes at. We can't rely on other teams. That's the thing. We can't rely on other teams. Would it be nice? Of course, but
damn.
But no, I think I would probably give up a second for a guy like JC, because you can still go out, re-sign a Rock Ya-Sin. You could still use Nate Hobbs as a slot guy, kick him outside. You can do what you want, but you could go out.
Good young players on rookie deals are worth it because you're not paying them a lot and you're getting great talent that you could develop. That's a win-win.
Hey, I think Carolina would take a second too.
Man, but you know that the guy that he has to really sell Patrick Graham, Josh McDaniels, Dave Z, that this is the guy, because they don't know who JC Horn is. They might know him because you know how it works. You know, the teams are Josh McDaniels and Dave Z. They were part of the evaluating staff when it came to evaluating talent. You know, for the Patriots, so they probably evaluated JC Horn when he was coming out. So we'll see.
Anthony said, "No way."
Yeah, I know.
He said, "No way."
I know. Are you talking about JC Horn? They're probably not. Hell no. That's just, come on, man.
Bro, if it was JC Horn or Brian Burns,
I see Christian McCaffrey getting traded.
Yeah,
I see that happening.
I could see that being a Rams situation, especially with the Rams wanting to move. They're trying to trade Cam Akers right now, so that tells me, you know, because they're running back situation, it's not like they have an established backup who ran away with the job.
Yeah.
So yeah. It tells me that they're probably behind the scenes. I could see Christian McCaffrey landing with the Rams. That just kind of feels like a Rams move. They didn't go out and pay OBJ, you know what I mean? And he was visiting with them, and they didn't put the bag on the table. So maybe there's something going on behind the scenes. I could see Christian McCaffrey definitely landing in LA. So I mean, we'll see. We'll see how that works out. But that's just my prediction.
Yeah, that could possibly happen. But I think I could see McCaffrey getting traded from that team just because he's that veteran. Maybe a DJ Moore. You know what I mean? Their other receiver already got traded away. I think what's his name?
Robbie Anderson.
Robbie Anderson. I mean, he's not a huge talent, but he's a deep threat though. You know,
right? Kyler can stretch the football field. That's one thing I know. So it might be a better fit than he was in Carolina.
Gives him a big receiver, and it complements DeAndre Hopkins. It makes a lot of sense.
And they're missing Hollywood Brown for some time too with injury.
I got to look at their roster and look and see. That actually would be something that I could look into if their D line and if they have any D tackles.
They got Derek Brown.
They're not going to trade him.
No,
nah, they're not going to trade him. They're not going to trade him. He's one of their good players. I think I seen somewhere that he was untouchable. I mean, if he's available, Raiders got to make that call.
Mm-hmm.
But it's crazy how Dave Z has not made one attempt to sign a D tackle, so he doesn't think that. You know, it's a huge problem for them.
I do. DeMarcus says McCaffrey probably going to Buffalo.
I heard that rumor.
That would low-key be nasty.
That's because they're making a run to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Buffalo's making a run. They're in that window. So usually you got to look at teams that are close to winning or have a chance to win. They're going to make these big time moves. The Rams did it in the past. You know, like how they picked up the wide receiver Odell Beckham last year. You know what I mean?
Right. Hey, is Odell a type of guy that you could see the Raiders bring in?
Man, on paper it sounds nice, but like I said, like it's just
Yeah, I don't
when
think he
you
should
hear
come in.
Devontae Adams struggling with this offense, you see him running into players. You see Derek Carr. You know, he was on his his nephew's podcast talking about how complicated the offense is, and it's just like, man, I have a hard time seeing players come in and
I don't
being.
think it's a lack of talent. You know what I mean?
It's not a lack of
That's
talent.
not our
It's
issue.
yeah, it's just time. It's just
Yeah,
time.
that's it. That's the part that sucks because you're trying to figure
Yeah.
out ways to make it better, but really,
I like
time.
OBJ though. I
No,
like
I do
him.
too. I would like him in the silver and black. I feel like
Hell yeah.
that'd be awesome. But
Oh man, but I don't think it's a need.
let's see here. Rams don't have anything to trade. I'd say the Bills would try to trade William Jackson. I'd like to see us trade for Daron Payne. If he was available, I'd like to see the Daron Payne. Anthony Provencio says, plus I like the means of Ziegler on a fresh second round pick. I agree with that. I do too. Anthony also says a third or fourth for JC Horn, but a second, no.
Has he been struggling, Anthony? Has he been struggling?
If they were willing to give up a third or a fourth round pick for JC, I say you do that in a heartbeat.
I'm telling you, if you know that is a good starting young corner, it's hard to find good starting young corners, and he's on a rookie deal. That's an easy no-brainer.
Yeah, I would throw.
But if you're saying, Anthony, you're saying that he's not that good, then okay, that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
That's a different conversation.
Auntie says pass on OBJ. Luis Lopez says everyone's talking about Chiefs should make a run for OBJ. I hope he goes to the Packers in that case.
Man, please.
The Packers would be a good fit. Yeah, the Packers would be a good fit.
I don't want Chiefs to get any good players that I don't want them to go Chiefs.
Any good players that have a hope, because Andy Reid is just one of those guys where he's going to make a guy look like an all-pro. And I'm just like, oh, please don't.
God, Denver had one job to do today and just beat the Chargers. They couldn't do that today.
Like,
I was having a great weekend. I'm like, the Chiefs lost. I'm like, yeah, it's good. And Chargers or Denver, they're one of them teams is going to lose. But I wanted the Denver Broncos to win because they would have went to 3-3, and then obviously that would have brought the Chargers to 3-3. You know, it makes the division a little bit more competitive. But I'm not saying that the Raiders are out of it. It's just I wanted the Broncos to beat the Chargers. That's all. Donkeys and Chargers both suck. Yeah, I mean, they went to OT.
Anthony says, crazy. I'm putting on my GM hat. No, look, I hear you out. I'm not too against it. Yeah, maybe a second was a little rich, but I'm thinking like, yeah, it was probably a little rich because if they are having a fire sale, who knows? But at the same time, I mean, moving forward, they're going to try to stick with young talent on good rookie deals to build a roster for the next regime that comes in. So it might be a little hard to pluck away a JC Horn.
Anthony, you cheap, man. Cheap. I would do it. I would do it. If do you get where I'm coming from?
No, yeah.
You get where I'm coming from? I'm thinking like, hey, look, at the end of the day, like if you're telling me this is a good starting young corner that you could build around, I would give up a second. On a rookie deal. You're not paying him penny. But if he's not that good of a player, that's where I kind of will push back. If he's kind of been shaky.
Yeah, but is anybody in Carolina right now balling out of their mind? That's the thing. It's one of those like, it's one of those situations where it's like, what am I getting? Because it's a collective bad team right now.
And what works in their favor, the Raiders' favor, is the fact that they have a coach that coached him up. So if this is not his rookie year, if this is his second year in the league, last year, our secondary coach, the Raiders' secondary coach, he was part of that coaching staff with Carolina. So he knows he has some intel on players that played for Carolina. So if he has nothing but good things to say about JC Horn, if he thinks this is the guy, you know what I mean, then that makes a lot of sense because we are not tied to any of our corners past this year, our starting corners, except for Nate Hobbs, who's still on his rookie deal.
Okay, so not putting any names on it, not putting you on the spot like to call out a name, but a yes or no, do you see the Raiders at least making a move before the trade deadline? Do you think that they actually make a trade?
It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. But I think that maybe going after a corner could be possible. That's why we're talking about it, is because the fact that they're getting linked to corners, and our corners are getting injured. They're getting hurt. Averett is not. We know that he's eligible to come back this week, but we don't know if he's going to come back this week. If that makes sense, like you know how it works.
No,
Players
yeah.
they need some time to get their feet under them, to get that football conditioning back into their system, because they're healthy enough. But he might be ready to go. Who knows? But it's possible. It's possible.
It was
but
a hand injury, wasn't it?
But we don't see a lot of trades happen though in the NFL. It's not like the NBA. It's not like the NBA. We don't see a lot of trades. Maybe in recent years we've seen a little bit here and there, but we don't see a lot. So I'm not sure if we see a trade, to be honest with you.
Cool Kev says we need to get someone off the street. We need to get Farrell with that one-handed snag he got.
Hey man, I top
what
dollar.
What would it take to put ink to paper?
Man, I'm gonna let my agent talk.
All right.
That's me. He's not in the building.
Yeah, that's me. We'll take that 1 year, $750, fully guaranteed. We'll take it.
Fully guaranteed, man. I need some little something. More than that. You know what I mean? We'll talk off camera, man. We'll talk off camera.
Okay. Oh yeah, and I appreciate you sending the $4.99 sticker, bro.
Oh yeah, it's all good, man. Hey, man, my boy over here is officially monetized. He already hit 1K like a couple of weeks ago, and he's now officially monetized. So you guys could donate to the channel. He's building something great on this channel, as well as myself. So go ahead and support, man. It's you guys are seeing the beginning of something great. So I gotta put some in it. You know what I mean?
I get to return the favor. You're not far away.
Yes, sir.
I get to return the favor.
Yes, sir.
Alfredo's asking a question. How do you feel about Waller? You go ahead.
Waller.
I already talked about it earlier.
Okay. Well, the thing about Waller is just the fact that he's been struggling since last season. You know what I mean? I'm seeing a trend here. I'm seeing the fact that he was dropping balls last year. He did get hurt, and now he's doing the same thing this year. So I know a lot of people are kind of like, hey, relax. I can't be relaxed. Because at the end of the day, Waller is a big part of this offense. What makes us dangerous on offense, the fact that we have Devontae Adams and our former number one option, which is Darren Waller. Darren Waller was our guy on offense, where we paired with everybody else, including Hunter Renfrow and Josh Jacobs. But hey, Waller hasn't been that guy. So obviously I'm a little concerned, but hopefully he gets it together. We still got a lot of games left. Everybody on offense is still trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? But it's getting better. And like I said earlier, I thought the KC game was the best game that the Raiders have played offensively. And I felt like the coaching staff, they did a great job. They had a great plan for the players. They coached their ass off. I thought we had a chance to win. We just didn't execute at the end. You know what I mean? That comes with time.
You think this man, Darren Waller, done fell in love? When you find somebody and for those first 3-4 months, you're like, I'm not hanging out with the boys. I'm just trying to hang out with you tonight. I feel like that's what he's doing to the Raiders. He's like, what? I want to.
It's possible. I posted something the other day, and some people were like, man, just relax, calm down. I just threw it out there. I'm like, hey, because I've been hearing this. I've been hearing that, Darren Waller is dating this WNBA player, and maybe he's losing a little bit focus on the football field. Who knows? But what I'm here to just talk about is the fact that on the football field, he hasn't been Darren Waller. He hasn't been one of the best tight ends in the league starting from last season. I'm not talking about just this season. I'm saying last season he was dropping balls. Last season he was missing games because he was hurt. And now that's happened, is he breaking down? Because, if you watch Waller play, every time he gets tackled, you always kind of hopefully, because he's so tall and long. Every time he takes it, he just falls awkwardly.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I don't want to so this would be my aspect, because I already addressed it earlier in the show. I feel like it's too, I don't want to talk about Waller in the trade talks, because this entire offseason, you talked about how crucial part of that offense he is moving forward. You go out, he gets rid of his agent, you sign him to this big, long contract, regardless of the production, because it's obvious that the production has dipped when it comes to the statistical aspect of his game. I mean, he's not the same player. He's not even staying as healthy as he was. But when you watch the film and you watch how defense still respect him, he's still getting bracket coverage. And I think that alone adds value to this offensive scheme when things start to click. That's why I don't necessarily think you move on from Darren Waller, even though it's not been working out how we all expected, right? but what he could bring to an offense that, hey, look, 5 weeks down the road from now, if this offense does turn that corner, you're really talking about a way to really manipulate defenses and coverages, because even though we feel as though he's regressed, how I see it on film, how defenses are playing it, they still respect him as one of the top tight ends in the National Football League. It's not gotten to the point where Darren Waller is just drawing single coverage. It hasn't got to that point yet. So until it gets to that point, I'm not gonna ship Darren Waller away yet. But yeah,
no, I wouldn't. I agree. I agree. I wouldn't do that. That's the kind of extreme, and I think that sends a bad message to the locker room, because, like, Darren Waller seems like he's a good guy. A lot of people on the football team like him. He's a hard worker. We all know about his story, where he came from and how he was able to turn his life around. So I think he's a big part of that community as well. So I think for him to get traded, it just kind of like, it's going to deflate the team a little bit. It's going to send a wrong message to us as fans, to the team. It's just not. It's not. I think we do need to remain patient, but I'm just, hey, like I said, if I'm lying about Waller not struggling, let me know, because he has been struggling.
No, he has. That's the thing, and that's why I alluded to you. And Anthony's like, who cares if Waller has a girlfriend? We know, we're joking, like we're making jokes about that. But we're talking about specifically the production, and I agree with you too. It's obvious. I mean, it would take a blind person to see that. Look, he hasn't fallen off, right? He hasn't taken a step back, I should say. But like I said, when you look at film, he still has the respects of defenses, and I think that bodes well for the Raiders offense moving forward. So everybody talking about, hey, we got to ship him off and trade him. I don't necessarily think it's a wise decision.
No, not at all. I don't think it is as well, but it is kind of frustrating to watch on Sundays. But you can make a case that everybody's kind of been frustrating. Devontae Adams has his moments. As great as a player as he has, he did drop that pass at the end of the game. Got out, we traded a first and a second. Supposed to make that catch. Game over. We win the game. We're walking away. We're talking about how, like, the Raiders are 2-3. We beat the Chiefs. Yada yada yada. But Adams had his moments. You could point to Renfro has had his moments. You know what I mean? The fumbles. Guy continued to fumbles. Derek Carr, the interceptions. You know what I mean? Like, where he's struggling, he's missing open receivers. But I think the whole offense is a work in progress. It's gotten better. We just need to see them go to. I think it's going to be a home game against the Texans. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But
yeah.
But we got some games that we can. And I like what you said earlier too about how, like, we have an upcoming stretch coming up.
Yeah,
but we don't want to overlook these opponents, because it's a National Football League. Any given Sunday really matters. Like, we watch, everybody's watched football long enough where we've seen upsets happen, because teams will take some other teams lightly.
So, well, Anthony says if Carr was a little bit more accurate week 1, Waller is amazing. But also Waller, if he's amazing, he's got to be able to make those catches, because when you're talking about, I believe it was the Cardinals game. I mean, is that the game where he had all those red zone drops?
Titans game? Let's point to the Titans game.
Titans game. Look, if you're amazing and you're great and you're an elite level tight end, you're not going to get a perfect pass each time. You're a big body guy. You are supposed to go up for those tough, hard to get contested footballs and come down with those, especially at the level that Darren Waller's at. Now, could Derek Carr be more accurate? Of course. We're not going to give Derek Carr a pass. However, that is Darren Waller's job. You know what I mean? His job is to go. That's why you have tight ends, right? You give them those tough, hard, contested football catches. You're going to probably take a big hit after you receive it. So it can go both ways. But I see what you're saying, Anthony. Digital Prez is in the building. We shouted you out, man. Hey, go subscribe over to Digital Prez. That man's been putting in some serious work. We will always acknowledge a hard worker over here. So we have a lot of respect for that. So everybody go subscribe to Digital Prez. Boy's been putting in work.
Prince.
Too bad for Waller. Dropped that deadly catch against the Titans. He turned into an IT. Yep. Tonight's game was horrible by both clubs. Can't believe I like my chances at 1-4. It's not done, y'all. It's not done, man. It isn't.
But what's crazy? There was recently they had rankings of the NFL, like NFL rankings of the. They had rankings on teams in the NFL, and the Raiders were pretty high for a 1-14. You know what I mean? I think they were like top 15.
Yeah,
so the
you see
NFL,
ESPN had them at like 12-5, finishing the year now.
They had them at 12-5.
Yeah, or 11. 11-6 or 12-5. That's where they had them. The only game that they had them percentage-wise not winning was the Chiefs game. The rest of the year, that was the only game.
Wow, that's crazy. How like they really, what's funny? It's funny about that's why you got to really pay attention, because the media before the season were talking about how the Raiders are going to finish last in the division, and then now the media's narrative is like, oh, they're underperforming. So what is it? Are they not the team that you expected them to be, or are they it's kind of weird how that works. Just it's funny when you pay attention to stuff like that.
No, I agree. This is a good one by you, Raider Way. He has to grab it like a plum. Get it?
That's a Raider joke for you right there.
Yeah. But did I already mention it to you? Daniel Kim said something like Bleed Silver and Black show with Farrell and Ray. They were trying to come up with show names.
That's cool.
Yeah,
we could.
I feel like we're slowly
but surely. There was one name that like I liked, but it's kind of taken. It's taken. So I'm kind of like, if it's taken, it's more. It doesn't matter. I could take it, but at the same time, like, I have respect for other people's stuff.
What about the Raiders paradigm with Raider Ray and Farrell NFL? Paradigm meaning you can look at one thing.
In the chat, man, let us know. Like, let us know. Like, we're still trying to figure out a name for the show. You know what I mean? Because we're making this a weekly thing. Obviously, today was a show by Raider Ray, but tomorrow is our weekly show where we're going to break down our next opponent, which is going to be the Texans. So make sure y'all tune in for that. But we're trying to figure out a show name. So if y'all have any ideas, leave some comments in the comment section. Let us know in the chat. Raider Gabe's in the building. He says, who's to say he'll be healthy in 5 games from now? I don't see him getting fully healthy. It's a reoccurring theme now. I don't see him being a top 10 tight end anymore. He can't break tackles. You know what, man, Raider Gabe? And I said this to Raider Ray too. And I was like, man, I apologize to anybody that I said that Darren Waller is as good as Travis Kelce, if not more, because like Travis Kelce, it's not even close. He's the best tight end.
It's not close.
It's not even close.
No,
it's not even close.
They're not in the same discussion.
Nah, it's not even close.
No,
Waller, he's a good player, but is he a great player? Hopefully he could prove that to us as fans. But right now he's in a funk since last season. And anybody wants to argue with me, we could talk. We could talk numbers. We can talk about, you could say, oh, Carr misplaced balls, just like Raider Race just said. If you're a great player, you make great plays. Adams was getting the same throws as from Carr, just like Waller was, and you seen Adams make great catches, great adjustments. So that's my thing. At the end of the day, like you got to prove that you're a great player.
Anthony says, I don't like that Raider Nation overreacts and flips on our elite players we're excited about and talks about trading them. It happens every year, right?
No, I'm not saying trade Anthony. I don't want you to take it that I'm saying that he's because I could tell, like, but and that's the whole point of having a conversation, so we could just show all different sides of the perspective. I'm not saying trade Waller. I just want you, Anthony. I'm not saying.
I don't think he's necessarily saying you,
Waller. I'm just saying, like, hey, he's been struggling. And it's been a while, like, where we've seen Darren Waller like dominate, have a great game. When's the last time Darren Waller's had a great game?
Dirty Low says, I got a name, but I need a producer credit. All right, boy.
Hey, drop it in, man.
Drop it in. We'll give you a little.
We'll shout you out. You want a producer? He wants the producer credit, so he wants it to pop. He wants it to pop up. He wants to pop up at the end. Okay. Low, let us know, man.
Digital Press says Eyes of the West.
Eyes of the West.
He says giving natural perspectives of the AFC West and the Raiders.
You know what? I give Digital Press. Digital Press is really creative, man.
He's
really creative.
Very people are afraid to put their opinion out there. Like if it'd be a bad show name, and we'd be like, nah. Like, bro, it's good to put those things out there.
We're gonna roast you just a little bit, just a little bit. We're gonna roast you just a little bit, but we'll appreciate your input.
Oh yeah, Auntie Six said earlier, bro. He was like, because he says, "LOL, you got the name. You got what the name is." He's like, just call it the Auntie Six Show.
The Auntie Six Show. Oh damn!
I was like, bro, that's the show. That's what it is.
It makes sense. It makes a whole lot of sense for sure.
Dirty
Auntie
Low.
Six. You got what's the name? Okay, he's over here talking shit.
Willie Wayne in the building. I think the Chiefs game.
Yeah,
was a
man.
great
That
game
throw
from
he
him.
had, man. I keep playing that throwback. That was a great throw. It reminded me of that throw he threw to
The Pro Bowl.
Pro Bowl, yeah, in the Pro
T.Y.
Bowl
Hilton,
to
bro.
T.Y. Hilton.
We said that the game, that the following live show we did from after the game, I had brought that up. I was like, bro, that throw looks almost identical, just flip side of the field to that throw that he had in the Pro Bowl to T.Y. Hilton. Anybody that hasn't seen it, go and watch the throw that Derek Carr had this last game against Kansas City Chiefs to Devontae, the second one, and then go back to the Pro Bowl season and just look at this dime that he drops to T.Y. Hilton. It's almost identical. So
yeah, it was nice. It was nice.
The Raider Room.
Salute Raider Room, man.
Shout out to the Raider
Appreciate you
Room,
pulling up, man.
6. But yeah, man. Drop Avakazi says the Raiders paradigm. If that's how you spell it, I like it. No, yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, it's just
we're gonna figure it out. We're just gonna narrow it down. And Dirty Low, you still haven't. Hey man, you holding out,
name, bro.
You trying to do business right now. I could tell. This is just business. It's just business. You know what I mean? But Digital Prez, I know he has some up his sleeve. He's holding back too.
I get called the next Spielberg, but I'm not close to that.
Okay, this is Digital Prez talking his shit right now. He just
Prez.
Man, Prez is just talking. But Raider Gabe says 2020 was the last productive season. When it comes to Waller, he needs to find that motivation from when he first came into the Raiders, but I'm afraid it's passed him by. Man, Raider Gabe is coming for Darren Waller. I'm just saying, man. It's been a while since we've seen a great game from Waller, and hopefully is he going to be healthy this week? We'll see tomorrow. Or no. I think first practice is going to be on Wednesday, right? Open to the media.
Yeah,
it's gonna be Wednesday, so we'll see how that goes. I hope, man. I hope he can play this week and prove us wrong. I'm waiting for Waller to have that great game.
Desert Storm, Raider Way says.
Desert Storm. Interesting. Okay.
It had me thinking of a few names to stem off of that, but he says, "Drop my channel link, fellas." Hey, Farrell, you're a mod on this show, right?
Nah, I don't think I'm a mod. I gotta make you a mod on my stuff. Yeah. You gotta.
I thought I did. I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead and I'll just leave a comment right now. Hold on, let me see.
Okay.
I'm gonna split it out. Boom. Do you see it? It's a whole bunch of like. Don't judge me, dude. I just like
put user in timeout or block user.
I think when you go to the comment, there's a 3 dot.
Yeah.
If you just move your mouse.
I clicked on it. It says put user in timeout or block user. That's the only thing it showed.
Damn, that's how you feel, Raider Ray. That's cold. Bro.
I'm not trying to make you a mod, bro.
Damn, that's messed up, bro.
No,
God,
yeah,
damn.
it's a real thing. I might have to do it after the show.
Luis Lopez says, "What about the Black Hole Show with the Raider Ray and Fair?" Black Hole Show. I mean, damn, that's no one has taken that name. That's very interesting. I like it.
We can build off of it.
The Black Hole Show.
The Silver Lining Pod.
Black Hole Show. We're gonna throw that name in there. Black Hole Show. Just because I haven't seen anybody kind of have like that name out here. There might be somebody out there, but
hey, one of our moderators that are still in the building, I think Daniel Kim bounced out of here. One of our moderators, please drop the link to Digital Prez's channel for me real quick. So I can post that so people can go over there and subscribe to him. Avakazi, what's good?
So I don't know if you guys are going to finish up soon. Just want to get my quick take. I like that name, Paradigm. I like it.
Raiders Paradigm is cool. Okay, that's what's up, man. Black Hole Show is cool too. I like that. Raider Ray said Desert Storm. You know what I mean? That's cool. We just want to get a good ideas, and we're just gonna pick the best one. And we actually want y'all to decide at the end of the day. Like at the end of the day, y'all tuning in, y'all showing support. So we appreciate you guys. So. And the way we show some love is like, hey, if we want you guys to come up with stuff, we gonna name it. Like, for example, a lot of the stuff that's on my channel is because of people in the chat. So, and shout out to Digital Prez. I'm gonna give you credit too. So it's the same thing. It's all love.
Your intro, dude, is probably one of my favorites. It just is like
Prez,
on your
bro.
channel,
Prez.
Like that. Oh, bro, it's legit. The fact that he even used like the Exorcist theme.
You talking about Exorcist theme? What are you talking? You talking about
Isn't that the beat in the background?
You talking about like that piano? Oh yeah, the up tempo. I had to find that beat, and then me and Prez got together. You know what I'm saying? And just
I swear that's the Exorcist theme, bro. I swear it is. Damn. Maybe Prez will know. Maybe Prez
it's kind of depressing.
D Menace says. Yeah, you need to get right with the Lord, son.
He basically said I'm a sicko right here.
Yeah. I like D Menace says the voice of the nation. I kind of like that.
Okay.
The voice of the nation.
Voice of the nation.
I like that. I like that.
Voice of the nation. Man.
Oh, see, I told you. He says it's actually a sample of it. Digital Press said that. I knew I caught that beat from somewhere, bro.
You got a good ear, bro.
I got a good ear.
Got a good ear.
Abakazi, dude.
What are you looking forward to? I'm gonna write that down.
The voice of the nation. Write that down.
Voice of the nation. And then what was the other ones? Voice of the nation.
The Raiders Paradigm. Desert Storm.
I like Paradigm because it's got P's and it's got R's in it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Ray,
Farrell, Ray, the Raiders Paradigm.
Yeah. I personally, I thought that's unique. I like that name, but hey, that's just my opinion. It's not up to me. It's about you guys.
So Raiders Paradigm.
Yeah,
Raiders Paradigm.
Oh wait, somebody said wait. That's a podcast somebody's working on.
Okay. Too bad. No, I'm just playing.
We jumped in front. It says
the voice of the
said
nation.
My clients. Digital Press says my clients. He said so. Somebody's working with Shield Talk. Shield Talk's taken 2. Digital Press says. I don't know, man. The Raiders Paradigm.
It's very formal. Shield Talk.
Yeah.
Raiders.
All right. So before we even start wrapping up the show, Avakazi, give me your rundown on what you're expecting. Me personally, I said I take it game by game. That's my approach, especially at 1-4. But if you could give me a big picture view, are you throwing the towel in this season? Do you see light at the end of the tunnel? Where are you kind of at after the first 5 weeks of the season?
I've always been in taking it one game at a time mode, even before the season even started, when a lot of us were confident and hyping us up to do this and that. For me, it's like just take it one game at a time, 1 week at a time. Yes, we are at 1-4, not ideal at this point in time. We expected a little bit better. We haven't got that, mostly due to miscues and just execution just hasn't been on point the way it should be. But look, it's better to, I guess, lose these games early on rather than later on. I mean, there's so much time left. What is it like? We've had 5 weeks, so 13 more games left, right? There's plenty of time to put it together. And now that we've had the bye week, and after the bye week, we do have a relatively friendly schedule. There's a lot of games that we should, and I'd like to highlight, should win. It's just a matter of
the AFC is stacking up too. Like, I mean, you have your top teams, right? You have the Bills, you've got the Chiefs. After tonight, you've got the Chargers up there. But really, from that 5 spot down to really, 5 through 10, there's a lot of 3-2, 2-3s. Like, the Raiders really aren't that far behind, especially if they can go on a run. And if they can put a few wins together, you're right back in that mix. Like, if the Raiders can get involved in that, that 8 to 7 range in the next coming weeks, you're talking about the Raiders are right back in the mix.
Exactly. There's still plenty of time. And sucks about the news on Nate Hobbs. Hopefully we get Averett back sooner rather than later. And just one little last thing about what you said about Waller. I mean, you were talking about how sometimes new love can change people. And you know what? You may have said that in jest, but I think there's a little – I'm not saying that in Waller's case, but there is truth to that, as I'm sure you would know, and maybe you too, Farrell. New love changes your mindset and your focus for better and sometimes for worse. So just –
No, yeah, it was a subtle joke, but at the same time, there's reality behind it.
There is truth to that.
Yeah, as like when you find love, so to say, for the first time, and those first 6 months, it's like you'll cancel everything to go out because you think you just found the best thing in your life. So,
like I said, new love changes your mindset and your focus for better, mostly for the better, but it can be sometimes.
And the only reason why we're and not to cut you off, guys, the only reason why we're talking about it is because he's struggling.
Right.
Yeah.
And when
he's going out there balling,
yeah. When I say struggling, I mean like he's been hurt. And he hasn't been as productive as we usually expect him to be this season and last.
but his attendance to those Aces games and those appearances with his old girl has been
perfect.
That's 100. But you know, I don't want to go that deep into it. I feel like that's kind of like a
quick hot take. He's going to put it together once he gets healthy. That's my quick hot take.
Okay. Hey, look, we hope so. Right. That's what we hope. Because if he can, it just makes this offense that much more dynamic. Raider Way says Waller has an ace up his sleeve. Boy, you coming in with all the puns tonight. The Raiders slaughterhouse. The Jets. Yeah, the Jets are surprisingly up there, dude. They're 4-2. So shout out to the Jets.
The Raiders slaughterhouse.
The Raiders slaughterhouse. Okay, now we're getting a little dark.
I'm still rolling with paradigm. I still think that's your best option.
The Raiders slaughterhouse.
Look, I'm gonna dip because I just want to come back on and
no, we appreciate having you on, Avocado.
Say my goodbyes next. I didn't get a chance before. I was on the go and my phone was dying. So I'll leave you guys to close up your show. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate you giving me the time and the energy. So yeah, you take care, guys. And is it Raider football yet? Hopefully this week can go quick enough so we can get back to business and get our season back on track. So salute to you guys. You take care now and go Raiders for sure.
You too, brother.
Yeah, shout out to you, Avocado. Everybody go over to Avocado and subscribe to his channel. Great guy. But look, man, we almost have a 3-hour show. It went on a lot longer than what I thought it was going to be, but you know, we had a lot of good conversation, a lot of engagement with the chat. I think we definitely took a step or two forward. Hopefully, the Raiders offense can do the same thing when it comes to creating a name for the show. But me and Farrell are going to be on tomorrow, so you guys are going to want to tune into that. All 33 of you guys, smash this with a like. We should have 33 likes. Head over to Farrell NFL, subscribe to his channel. We're on the road to get him up to 1,000 and get him monetized so we can support him as well. He got a new chair. I still got my 1820 Classic back here, giving me the good old knots in the back. He's got an upgraded chair, so maybe some of the funds tonight.
Back feels a whole lot of better. God damn, man.
Well, boy, I'm coming for it. I'm gonna come grab a chair too. So
pause.
Yeah. Yeah.
That sounds crazy.
All right.
But
yeah. If you got any closing statements, we will be live tomorrow here on Raider Ray. And then the following week we'll be over on Farrell NFL. So you guys can catch a live show here on Raider Ray tomorrow at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. You don't want to miss it. We're going to be previewing all things Texans, matchups, what the Raiders need to do to win, how the Raiders could actually lose. We're going to be looking into absolutely everything. Dirty's name was The Nation's Take. I know, that's a pretty good one.
Nation's Take. All right, I'll put that down. Nation's Take. And salute to Damian Bonds, man. I see you here, man. Appreciate you coming through. Man. He has a Fire Raider song. I think it's Raider Baby. Raider Baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, so go ahead and make sure and support Damian Bonds, man. He's a real true Raider fan. Appreciate you pulling up, brother.
Yeah, hey, Digital Prez is on within the next hour. Oh, crap, nobody dropped a link. Man, we need to do that. Hey, Digital Prez, I got you. I'm going to make Farrell a moderator, and D Menace is going to be a moderator. We're going to get it, brother. So tomorrow, I promise you, we're going to drop your link to your show so people can go and find you, bro. You've done nothing but help us out, so we're going to return that love. Everybody go over to Digital Prez, subscribe to him. He's doing his thing. He's putting a ton of work out. You guys will really like his content. He's going live within the next hour, so everybody go over to Digital Prez. With that being said, Farrell, do you have any closing statements?
Yeah, man. Hey, Raider fans, man, just stay positive. It's we still got 12 games to go. And at the end of the day, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the next game. It's going to be against the Texans. Make sure to tune in. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Tomorrow is going to be at, let's say 6:30 Pacific Standard Time.
Yep.
Yeah, so
9:30 Eastern Standard.
There you go. So, yeah, man, just tune in. It's a lot to look forward to. It's a crucial 6-game stretch where there's some winnable games, but at the end of the day, we can't take it lightly because any given Sunday is a really true thing that happens in the NFL. So, man, I appreciate everybody pulling through. We're still trying to figure out this name of this channel. I was writing some down. You guys had some good ideas. Make sure to leave a comment at the in the comment section. If you got something comes to your mind, Raider Ray says Raiders Flame. Hey, man, just leave a comment, and we read the comments. We read the comments for every show. So make sure to leave a comment if you have an idea of the show name, how you guys feel about the show, the next Raiders game, whatever you guys have on your mind. Make sure to leave comments, like, and subscribe.
Awesome. Perfect. Hey, Raider Nation, with all that being said, man, tune in tomorrow. We're going live. Much love to the nation. And as always, just win, baby.